USB cord. Amazon has them, but Amazon is probably less quality than the dollar store. Alright, I'm back up. Let's see. I gotta get used to the feel of this. What the heck is that noise? I can't hear. I'm trying.
Me trying to connect to your thing and not being let in.
Oh.
So I'm just sitting here while Susie just sits there and not playing a game.
What is going on? I hit connect. There we go.
Hey everyone, I'm Surreal Canine. It's not the sewers. Why are we in the sewers?
Because I clicked off and it made us go to the thing it was on. We
are doing the top tier, the festival. 30. Okay, let's see. What? 13 out. I didn't see.
Ah! Keep hitting the wrong button.
10 elements, 30 tokens. Oh, accessories here might not fit right.
Super Danny.
You guessed it, this is an express ride to first place. Gotta check out the other simulations too, they're awesome. Why did the payroll department ask me to keep track of who we hired as tier bosses? Shouldn't they know? I'm out here looking for tier boss teleporters, but this tier doesn't even have one. Heck, I can't even tell who's a tier boss when there is a teleporter. I'm just gonna make up names. What grit! What determination! You are a true champion! Enjoy your visit to the top tier. I still get residuals from appearing in a popular simulation a while back, so I'm kind of obligated to be here. It's hard being the first. Space is dangerous. You can't breathe in space. That's why I wear a helmet. Wait, are you wearing a space grade helmet? Can't tell, but we can't take any chances. Come try my helmet on. Nothing will do you wrong. Don't worry about me. I'm holding my breath. I'm more worried about you. I'm worried you'll make a mistake. You could crack your helmet, spin too fast, push the wrong thing, and the top comes off. Your tube could pop. The window could kaboom!
Forgotten
Factory. Ace Spark's silver favorite. This song, I've heard this. Where did I hear this? Oh, Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Uh-oh.
Yay, we made it.
Yay. And after the direct today, I really can't wait for a Trails in the Sky remake.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty neat.
What?
Lag. Gotta hit it again. Probably gonna have to take this bit before I start reading any reviews.
Owie! What, sore throat thing or something?
Yeah.
Ah!
Oof.
Tight jumps.
Maybe you ought to rush coil there.
Got.
Oh! That is smortacular.
Don't be down the pit and then just go yourself, I guess. Like, hey Susie, there's cowtails down here. No, what? Oh, the controller actually vibrates. The Xbox 360 one didn't even do that for this.
Amazing.
Wow, wait, there's vibration for this? Okay.
My Xbox One controller doesn't vibrate, so...
8BitDo is. Like when I died, it vibrated.
Oh yeah, it vibrates. Never mind.
Ah! It is hard to time. Oh, that didn't even... The token thing didn't even go off.
It despawned. It despawns if it hits a wall.
It's not being marked on the map.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh. God darn it, I keep forgetting there's that one there.
Oops.
How did that happen?
I gotta redo some stuff.
What?
Oh, we're soft blocked. Oops.
What?
That was my fault. I brought us down while the switch was still red.
Ah! Nuts. That. That! Darn it!
And that's why I used Rush Coil. Whoops!
This is extra difficult in multiplayer.
Yep.
Ah,
Oop. Happened to me that time. Oops. Sweet.
Yeah, I wonder why that wasn't marked on the map. Like, darn it. Did they not mark them for the top tiers, maybe? That's kind of weird.
Maybe they have to be... Well, no, like the judges will place those or something, right? Or somebody... I'm assuming it's not the level developer's job to mark those correctly. Whoops.
I don't know.
I think we need to get in the spotlight. Yeah. Bolts that we don't really need. Ah, dang it. I like this.
Ow. Ah, yeah.
Uh-oh. Where are you, man? Victory! Slime Kitty.
Oh.
Huh. Not bad.
Oh no.
You were supposed to slide under. Yeah, whatever. Go on the map.
I can't. It's waiting for you.
Oh.
Oh no! Ah!
Okay, well, I guess I'm doing it now. Is the auto scroll not working? There was auto scroll, right?
I think we broke
The
it.
scroll broke. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna die then.
It breaks on 2 players, I guess? I guess that breaks on 2 players.
That's unfortunate. This looks really cool. And you blew it. Alright, my turn.
What the heck? But that was a bigger hitbox of that spike than I thought. Okay. Persona style music.
This is also from Returns.
Still Persona 5 style. Persona 3 is more weird, like, rap intermixed with other stuff.
And Mariah Carey for some reason.
Mariah Carey, what? Ah!
I could get
Oh no!
because of the lag. Alright, you're up. Like, you know, at the start of Mass Destruction, it goes like, whoa!
Why? It's that thing killing it! I'm not touching it! Jeez! Big hitbox spikes. The only thing I can say so far, I haven't gotten too far into it, but Junpei annoys the hell out of me, so... Being a jealous jerk.
Yeah, that's basically how it is. That was lag. It's weird that that stops the music.
And of course I got Haru, I mean Fuka, so...
Desco's better. That tower of alternating blocks reminds me of Pushmo.
A little bit, yeah.
Alright. Oh, right, I don't need the keyboard anymore. I can do this. No, I can't. What the heck? I wasn't expecting much for my first impression, but this level's pleasantly surprised me. How are the scores, anyway? Wow. 82 average. Most of this is up to the main gimmick. It reminds me a lot of Colorman.exe's dungeon, which, as a Battle Network fan, I consider appealing. Simple concept, not a lot of wow factor, but it has a beautiful execution that lends itself to fun scenarios. The token puzzle and searchy scenarios are a highlight, putting an excellent twist on an already solid gimmick. But the real victory is the final climax. That is a fine example of how to end a level without needing a boss. The variety of music certainly helps a lot. Unfortunately, when the level isn't leveraging its gimmick, it falls short. For starters, the non-gimmick sections tend to be boring. There's nothing wrong with the Mets and gears. In fact, the Mets here are better than most, but on their own in this largely drab factory, they're just kind of there. More prominently, the tall room with the electric Gabby wall really doesn't flow well. The concept is alright, but in practice, you can't see the electric Gabby wall unless it's firing, making it a pain to track and avoid. Finally, the red colored blocks against the red background is an outright aesthetic problem. When the blue ones are active, the red can be hard to see. This has killed me at least once, even after playing level multiple times. Still, despite the issues, this is a fun little level. I wouldn't call it a favorite anytime soon, but it's a solid piece of work regardless. Less is more. I think that's the main lesson we can all take away from this stage. It focuses on one basic mechanic and just runs with it. It doesn't do anything too crazy per se, but it doesn't make it any less effective. The overall level design here is top-notch. Every room and platforming challenge feels like a natural extension of the last, as the uses for the Switch gimmick are built upon more and more in different situations. I would call it a puzzle stage, but most of the rooms are straightforward and go by pretty quick, so I guess it's more like a light puzzle stage instead. Either way, I'm fine with this, since it means less time messing around in previous rooms if you happen to die. I also really appreciate that standing inside of color block spaces being switched on doesn't kill you. I only really discovered that once the searchies got involved, with said enemies really helping to put a new spin on the main gimmick. There's a lot of well-designed and engaging segments in this stage, including the optional token room. I'm actually a little sad that there's only one, since it feels like the main gimmick could easily support more unique challenges surrounding them. That being said, some of the segments near the end of the level did feel a bit off to me. Specifically the long vertical room with the electric Gabby wall. It's not necessarily a bad use of that enemy, but I found it to be a little hectic to deal with both it and the other enemies at the same time. The final section made up for it, though, and served as a pretty good climax in lieu of a traditional boss fight. Although I did encounter a small bug with it, as the music for the final climb didn't play after I died and retried it. Either way, it didn't really ruin my fun with the final stretch. It's a solid end to an equally solid level. Hypergore Skull. That's a unique take on the toggle block gimmick that you see often in the other entries, making it trigger via touching instead of shooting. The stage makes good use out of that to design challenges around. I especially like that the scanner robots also toggle those blocks. I love it when enemies are able to interact with stage elements, opening up ways for clever designs. Checkpoints are also plentiful, which is appreciated since the death hazards are plentiful in this. Also a neat way of making a token gravity-based for that timing challenge, though it can get a bit annoyingly strict sometimes. The difficulty could have been stripped down a bit. I really like the auto-scrolling at the end, serving as a stage's climax. It really pushes the player to test on manipulating the switching gimmick while under time pressure, even down to including scanner enemies into the mix. I only wish that it was a little longer, as it felt like it just ended abruptly as it was just getting started. The only real unfortunate thing about this entry is the name. It's about as generic and forgettable as it can be for a stage that was actually quite competently designed. At least it sticks to the factory aesthetics quite well, with the clanking-like sounds and the music resembling machinery, and the mechanical tile sets mix nicely with the metal and background elements. Although the level starts off slowly and stumbles a few times with its challenge progression, it ends up being an enjoyable experience. Superb music, cleverly adapted dev kit and gimmicks and enemies, and an alliterative level name effectively bring Donkey Kong Country Returns into the realm of Mega Man. Creatively repurposed, gently animated tiles help create the right atmosphere without the need for a custom tile set. Switch puzzles are intuitive, diverse, and satisfyingly brain-bending, and I like the use of Searchy as a switch. The token screen and the entire adjoining area are especially fun. It's easy enough for my colorblind eyes to tell the platforms apart, but I feel like the visual difference between on and off isn't quite stark enough. I also might like the switch sprite to look like it's just attached to the background instead of just floating in the air. Power-ups are plentiful, but not entirely in the most helpful places. Some of the straightforward metal challenges could have been condensed or cut altogether, and I question why a few enemies are dangling uselessly at the top of the screen in the long horizontal section. They need to discourage rush jet use. The two-way horizontal screen transitions seem to serve no purpose. For me, the weakest section is the one with continuous vertical scrolling. The entrance is almost soft block proof. The red switch platforms might as well be regular floors. And I'm not a fan of ornamental spikes that pull focus from what the challenge is actually about. The strongest section, despite a severe oversight involving rush spike at the beginning, is a surprise scramble at the end. It's a perfectly paced culmination of key things the players learn, and I love how the audio cues and visual effects play homage to the source material. Who needs a boss fight? I have seen switch blocks in several different games, but I think this is one of the best I have ever seen them used. I was wondering how you could use contact-based switch blocks in an original way, not quite believing that you could pull off something interesting with this, but you certainly did. I love how laser-focused the level was with the gimmick, and the enemy selection being used to its fullest. The checkpoint placement is ideal, as it can be quite easy to die from this timing. I felt the difficulty progression was nearly perfect. It definitely got more interesting as the level went on and surprised me fairly often. The one token in the stage was a great timing challenge, and although easy to mess up, it was also easy to reset. The main negative in the stage is that there's no real theme, and it's aesthetically fairly generic. I would love to see a bit more personality to this stage. I did unfortunately encounter a soft lock due to how the block physics are handled, since they do not exist if they would appear on top of the player. It is possible to get yourself stuck in large chunks. This could have been fixed by shunting the player out of the blocks. I acknowledge this would probably have taken a while to implement, as I suppose the only real way to make sure that doesn't mess up would be to set the shunt direction manually. It's not hard to scour a soft block, but it also isn't egregious, so it isn't a huge score stock. Finally, this level proves that you do not always need to end on a boss fight. The fast-paced timing challenge is ideal for this sort of level, and it proves to be a complete test of the player's abilities that they have been building up the entire time. Unlike the main level theme, the music here was an excellent choice, and this set the mood perfectly. That last room is my favorite part of the stage. This stage is great. It's just a really tightly designed level, and from a purely gameplay perspective, I think it's just super impressive. With a bit more personality, it might have knocked itself up a bit higher both in score and personal favorites, but for what's here, fantastic job. Oh, paranoid. People love us. Why else would our kind show up in so many simulations? Besides, they're variants, so we can't well be unpopular if we don't get used enough to be annoying. I don't know, Bastion, what do you reckon? Should I listen to these two and give up my hat? You hear that, fellas? Bastion says to keep the hat. Now quit Pelican and let's find an empty hallway to clog. Come on, at least try living in a corner like this out of the way where no one wants to go. Please, I don't want us to be known as a terrible trio anymore. It's not too late to give up your shielded ways. Man, those poor schmucks. They're really gonna throw away their whole identity and protection.
You know, 3 robots over there, you know them?
Nope, have my sympathies, but that's about it. Well, an up and down like me have in common with a Met, Shield Attacker, or a Sniper Joe anyways.
Pretty sure that's a Metal DX. The Tri-Attacker, my point.
My point still stands, okay? I'm trying so hard not to spoil the outcome of the tournament for everyone. First there's event redacted, then you action redacted, but suddenly surprise redacted, it's adjective redacted. Can't believe you die at the end. Get wild, get wet by Sea Sketch. Welcome to Adrenaline Park, only the coolest and most tubular mountainside water park in the country. There's more to this sign, but you can't really read it. It's covered by myths from angry parents and citizens complaining about how unsafe the park is. Music from Sonic Colors.
Hey, isn't that famous park that... Well, I forgot what it's called. Isn't that from New Jersey? Like the infamous park that kept getting people hurt and maimed and it stayed open for a while?
Never heard of it.
I try to remember the name of the park. Action Park. I think it's... Oh yeah, that's the reference to the level then. Okay. It did open a water park too, as part of it.
Whee! In the skills.
Ah! Lag! Ah, no!
Thanks.
Well, we fell in the pool. At least it's just soaking. I was gonna say, did you hear the other news that everyone's talking about from the Direct?
No.
Sonic, our Shadow's voice actor.
Who is it?
Keanu Reeves.
What?
Yes, it's... what's somebody said is like, what? Neo from the Matrix? I guess it could kind of fit. It's really silly, but...
The only thing I know about Keanu Reeves is Aliens, and he starred in a really weird Romeo and Juliet movie.
Bill and Ted. I mean, was it Bill and Ted? No, it wasn't Bill and Ted. It was Wayne's World, I think. It might have been both of them. I don't remember.
Never heard of him.
But he was Neo from the Matrix, so.
I wonder if the weather is going to be warm enough for water parking next week. I'm going with Simple Man and his wife.
I see.
But if it rains or something, I mean, obviously we're going to call it off.
It's definitely warm enough by me.
Yeah, but like all the water parks are in Orlando, aren't they?
Not all of them.
Token! Hey, check it. I couldn't get in time. Hey there, Eddie. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wave fight time.
Looks like they fixed it. So whoa, 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 whoa! What?
It... I don't know, nothing makes sense, ever.
That.
Oops. Go, go, go! Yes! I'm waiting for one of these to, like, surprise crush the player or something.
On accident or on purpose?
On purpose. That would be kind of hilarious. Just as a one-off gotcha.
Oh, okay. Oh, I need to ride the thing all the way down. Duh. You are back.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get surprise spiked if you stay on too long. Okay. Neat.
Boogs!
Huh? Oh. Boing!
Hey Eddie, what you got?
E-Tank!
Wait, didn't we have full E-tanks?
I don't know.
It didn't fill it, the health. That was weird.
What do I have to say? You can't.
Ah!
Uh-oh. Boing. Yes! You did the thing!
No!
No! You didn't do the
Surprise
thing!
ball right at the end. I didn't even have time to react to that.
Oops. Alright.
Oh no! Whoa! Ah! Lag! Oh no!
That wasn't how I was expecting the scrolling to work.
Hooray! Eddie, what are we fighting?
There's an outfit, though. Boing.
They're gonna fight the Venga Man. Adrenal Man.
Yo, Bastion, how are you enjoying this awesome day at Adrenaline Park? Totally tubular, right?
This place is awfully dangerous. Are you sure why they didn't reprogram the robots or anything?
What? Adrenaline Park has not been compromised. This has been just fine. Business as usual. I'm shocked you'd call this park unsafe.
Well, there's robots dropping missiles, your beach ball holders have assaulted me numerous times, and your bumper boats have very little leg space. I think this park breaks all the safety laws on the planet.
What? As Adrenaline Park's mascot and public relations director, I have absolutely no bias when I say Adrenaline Park is the safest water park on the planet. I bet my life on that fact. Visitors of Adrenaline Park, if you are hearing this pre-recorded message, it means what we never hoped, but honestly, always expected has come to pass. Adrenaline Park is finally crumbling to the ground. We recommend all guests who want to live escape as fast as possible, and if they make it home safe, visit our digital emergency door. Adrenaline Park staff signing off. Adrenaline Park wouldn't be what it is if it weren't for the smiles of its customers, but the smiles of the customers wouldn't be what they are if it wasn't for the people behind our attractions. For that, we can thank engineers Phazon, Motherbrain, Snower, Pyra, Soulfin, NaOH, and Sarisa. Those are lovely ride-offs: Kresh, Mini Macro, Rockcon, Noise, Guydross, Zero V1, and Kawakato. Adrenaline Park wouldn't be what it is today if it weren't for all of your efforts combined. Thanks for helping me make this dream a reality. Go, go, go! He almost didn't make that. Yeah! Go, go, go!
Jeez. Ah! You dropped me in the pit! No! Well, that sure... Uh-oh. Well, there's the crash again.
Alright, I guess you're playing the rest of this level solo, then.
I guess. I was at the end.
Hang on. Let me,
Disconnect.
Boop.
Oh, my God. That sure was a thing that happened there.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to catch the error for Amatsu.
I got it, I think. Hold on.
Okay.
Magwell's still starting, so let's see. Paint, paste. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Alright, well, one will win. Okay, let me in so we can at least show the people. Even if you're playing solo.
Gonna have to with that.
Hop on out to the title screen again. Do multiplayer. Go! Yes. Wait, where are you? Oh. Dead.
That's gonna be a pain in the butt.
Too many explosions.
Oh, that's what's supposed to happen. Okay. It was just breaking. Cursor Chan can leave. Oh, you almost got me again. What the heck?
Loving memory of Adrenal Man, 1978 to 2018. Here's a robot that brought happiness to many, beloved by children and remembered by adults. You'll always be in our hearts and in our official Adrenaline Park gift shop merchandise trademark.
Okay then. When it drops you out of the thing, it pushes you to the left and just kind of. That was kind of a pain in the butt.
That was bizarre. Anyway, I'm here. Okay, let's see. The only thing below 80 is Patchy. You see a ridiculously unsafe water park, I see a Mega Man level. I guess they're the same thing. Still, this was quite fun. I genuinely adore the enemy selection, not just for the top-notch theming, but also for their application. On the theming end, turning the shield attackers into surfboards was an excellent way to make them fun again, and the Caterpillar hats are just plain cute. On the application end, it turns out Rider Joe works really well as both a boat enemy and a stationary turret, and buoy spines are a neat concept for water sections. These are combined with awesome gimmicks. The geyser platforms are intuitive, their scenarios are well designed, and they're just plain fun to play with. On the other end, the bumper boats are some of the best jet bike sections I've seen in a while. To put this all together, we're off to a wonderful start. That being said, this place has more problems than just OSHA compliance. My main issue is the spiders. They're the one time where I feel the theming seriously faltered, and considering how little they're used in comparison, they feel like an afterthought. On lesser end, I found the geyser gimmick had some consistency issues. I noticed that there's some indicators in the walls showing where the geyser is supposed to stop, however, this isn't always accurate. I recall an instance where two platforms had the same indicator, plus a spiked ceiling at the same height. But only one of them would actually impale me. While I appreciate not getting skewered, I appreciate consistency more, so I would much rather have died. But while there are absolutely polish issues to look into, these are not severe flaws. Overall, I generally adored this level, especially the Robot Master. Adrenalman was a wonderful Wait, what do you mean there isn't a boss fight? Not gonna lie, you have to be good with that. I was so sure we'd be getting an actual fight, but then continuity killed him and we got an escape sequence instead. Speaking as someone who adores a good boss fight, this is how you make a climax without a boss fight. Not only does it feel super tense and frantic, it also brings out pretty much everything you've already dealt with for one final send-off. Perhaps it's a bit too interested in the odd cheap shot, but taking a few surprise nicks in the endgame is a more polished problem than a severe issue. Otherwise, it's thematic, unique, frantic, and all-around fun. Really, that's the level in general. I wouldn't call this my top favorite, but I hope it goes far. Good work. I can't say anything for the other judges, but your none too subtle references to Action Park weren't lost on me. Then again, it's not my job to judge the quality of your references, so how does the stage itself hold up? Well, despite it being such a dangerous place, I certainly had a lot of fun with it. Almost everything here is really well thought out, from the platforming challenges to the general theming. The geyser platforms are simple with fun gear, consistency, and variety in how they're used. A block room in particular stands out among these, to the point where I would have loved to have seen more setups like it. I also love how the enemies have been changed to more suitably fit the theme of the level, which also extends to the wave riders being changed to bumper boats. Speaking of which, I ran into a few problems with the boats sinking below the water tiles and sometimes constantly bouncing out afterwards. It's not a huge issue to break those sections, but it's still noticeable. There's only really a few other spots I can point to where the design gets a bit iffy, such as with some of the enemy placements. After the first auto-scroll bumper boat section, there's one particular Joe positioned just off-screen who managed to knock me into a pit a few times. Mostly because he appears right after jumping from one of those geyser platforms. I also wasn't really a fan of the first token room, mainly thanks to how tight of a space the caviar walls are packed into. Tying the geysers to get past them unscathed felt like more trouble than it was worth. Minor issues in the grand scheme of things, though, as they didn't negatively impact my time at the stage in a major way. I still had a lot of fun with it, and the rest of the level design itself is really good. As for the ending, while I was a little disappointed we didn't get to fight Adrenalman himself, the whole joke is executed so well that I honestly can't fault the level for it. Plus, the final bumper boat section served as a pretty good climax to the stage in its own way, even though I did get stuck on one of the ramps at one point. All in all, this is a fantastic level. Dubious safety measures, potential water hazard! The strongest part of the stage is absolutely the aesthetics. It's super charming throughout. The reskins of the enemies are really cute, making it really feel like a Robot Master stage for a water park mascot. I like the occasional signs poking fun about the unsafe nature of the park as well, and the interaction with Adrenalman genuinely made me laugh. The water stream platform gimmick is simple, but used effectively as the level design. I especially like the part where you need to get rid of the destructible blocks for the platform to make its way down. A little bit of a replacement of the token there if you stay in Yalco for too long. We're really forced to die, but it's fine since the checkpoint is in the same room. Water skiing on land where you have to jump your way through is an interesting way to change up the dynamics of your typical ski section. But can get a bit awkward to adapt to, especially when all the scrolling is involved. It also gets rather hectic with the projectile span on the later portion of the stage where the limited mobility really hinders you from dodging properly. That fake out with the boss was funny, but it's a shame we didn't get an actual fight out of it. Instead, yet another section of the water ski. While it serves fine as the finale, it's quite a missed opportunity for a proper boss fight. You had the character design for this after all. This level is so much fun. I love the premise, and the story unfolds with a sense of humor that's right up my alley. I appreciate that the credits, which so often disrupt the atmosphere, are treated as part of the level universe. I can't help but smile when I hear the infectiously happy music. I like the boat sections, and especially like the geyser platform gimmick, including how the background subtly indicates how far the platforms will sink and rise. Great attention to detail. I'll admit, the level feels fan-gamey in many respects. Clunky architecture, inflated screen count, recycled tile sets trying really hard to meet the need for a custom tile set. I don't think it's so easy to find out and dry. Load times are moderately long, but they're bearable thanks to the audio kicking in before the visuals. I don't mind that I can't quite tell what one or two of the otherwise really cute custom sprites are supposed to look like. I can forgive and even enjoy how ridiculous the boat sections are if I proceed without bothering to get in the boat. As far as intended challenges go, my only significant critique is that the vertical box puzzle room could be a little more intuitive. Otherwise, I like the quick reflexes and careful planning are equally viable strategies throughout the level. I approve of there being an escape sequence in lieu of a proper boss. Introductions are handled really well, challenge arcs are just the right length, and every enemy earns his paycheck, and generously distributed power-ups ensure you'll stay alive long enough to die in the platforming mishap instead in light combat. Radical, dude! This level has some great ideas, visuals, music, and overall is a fun place to visit. The stage got a lot of love, care, and attention here. I dug it. The reskinned enemies are also really, really cute. There's quite a bit of instant death here, but some really well-placed checkpoints render this a non-issue. My favorite gimmick here might just be the water spout. It's simple, sure, but it's easy to parse even with the individually different setups, which I think from a mechanical perspective end up rather different in function. I still knew the outcome when I landed on it. There's a lot of variety with just this alone. I think the wave-like segments end up occasionally brutal, but it's not enough to knock it down for me. This was among the first levels I played, and at the time I got the feeling I was going to run into the Combust Man gag from Magnum 2. The idea of that filled me with dread and annoyance. Dread-annoyance? Boo-hoo boy, yeah, bugger. This is the one time this joke where the boss is unexpectedly instant killed by something landed. The one time this joke actually landed. Why did it in Combust Man land? Because I didn't see the jokes coming. They were a surprise. But that joke is dead, buried, not just pushing daisies, but also crushed into oil at this point. My word, can I never see that joke again? Bloody buggering hell. Okay, so even if this joke hadn't landed, you still had an actual climax and a fun one too. That more than makes up for and functions as the stage's boss, so I'm giving you a pass here, with some points thrown in for good measure. Overall, this is one of my favorite entries in the contest. Great job. Following System Core by SnowRun Pyro.
Hey!
A 90 from Shinryu.
There she is. Squad
Hello, Element Man, you exist.
He's just here this entire tournament because he's looking for somebody to fix his voice box.
Yeah. What? Oh. Oh, okay, I gotcha. You can go up and down too. Oh no! Okay. Going up, huh? Yay! I was not expecting to get smashed there.
Jeez, that thing does a crap load of damage.
Excellent. Going up again.
I see it here, yep. Whoa!
Whoa.
That's going to be interesting.
I know how to deal with that. Yay for co-op! Where would this focus from?
Ouch!
Alright, all y'all get out of here. Except that guy. Ow. Oops.
Almost sounds like Binding of Isaac. I don't think it is, though.
Woo! Fire bars.
Mario! Mario! They stole our stuff and put it in the Mega Man game!
Woo! No water. Yes! Oh.
Ah!
Going up.
These things are annoying. Ooh!
Ha! Co-op cheese! Yay! Oh. Oh.
Wagla!
Whoa. Oh! Hi.
It's definitely an interesting stage here.
Yeah, I like it.
Quite hectic, too.
Yeah.
Whoa!
You made it!
Now, who are we fighting?
Flying Gravity Man! Nope. Whatever that thing is.
I have no idea.
Tornado, huh? Oh man.
Hey! It's actually labeled. Whoa, that is kind of crazy.
One more shot. Go, go, go! Wait, what? Okay. 5-second phase! Okay, Sans. Or Papyrus, rather. Hey, he got you.
This is really hard to... oh my god!
E-Tank!
How long is this gonna go on for?
Congratulations!
Jeez, that went on forever.
Yeah. That was cool, though.
The fight was cool. I think that last part of the fight was a little much, but the earlier part's fine.
Okay, this place is downright beautiful, both visually and musically. It's also a strong level with a fun free flight mechanic and a variety of challenges to keep things interesting. The free flight is introduced smoothly enough, and the level does a good job of naturally easing you into the different situations. As this rising and falling difficulty curve that I just adore, and the way the variety is spaced out means it never gets boring. As a whole, this should play like a dream. However, the heavy abundance of spikes kind of shoots this place in the foot, and not for the reason one would assume. As folks who've played the level would already know, the spikes here are damage spikes, which works much better for the actual free flight mechanics. Unfortunately, the only way for the player to learn that the spikes here won't kill you is to touch them, and the thought of if I run out of free flight I die creates an incentive to bum rush to free flight sections. Why is this a problem? If the player is rushing a level, they're not really getting a chance to practice the free flight, especially when you need to dodge attacks while doing it. Unfortunately, prioritizing not dying over actually dodging comes back to bite you in the level's dodge or die sections. This won't break the level by itself, but the moving, crushing walls really exacerbate the lost practice. Yes, their timing is consistent, but if you're focusing on not running out the death timer, tracking the timing of the walls isn't something you're really doing. It also doesn't help that it's not 100% clear what does and doesn't stop things. I didn't expect it to go through the wall in the auto-scroller, which was a mildly annoying death. That said, one thing to be clear on, the chances of the player actually running out of flight time is pretty slim. The whole gimmick is timed expertly well, and for folks who see this in the higher tiers, will likely not encounter rushing fears that I faced when I had no grasp of what I was in for, but it's also important to note that if you do run out of time, you're kinda screwed. You won't die instantly, and some sections can be survived with excessive application of weapons. I made a point to test this, but generally it's just a slightly slower death when time runs out, which is an unfortunate incentive for the bum rushing if the level doesn't warrant. In the end, this level is good. It does the best it can with the tools it has, and the result is fun overall, with my core issue being a smaller one than I usually have. My number one piece of advice is to adjust up spikes in the early sections. Whether it be graphical changes or scrapping them altogether, don't threaten to kill the player for failure if they haven't really practiced yet. I also advise toning down the bullet hell eyeball at the end. Missing out on dodging practice can make Phase 2 much more annoying, even with practice. This final phase makes him overstay his welcome.
Yep.
I need water.
Alright, I do too.
works perfect time. Hug it up, shoot it up.
Oh, I can barely stand up. Ow, ow, ow.
It's always nice to see a new take on a somewhat overdone level theme or gimmick. In those regards, this is easily one of the most memorable and well-designed anti-gravity stages I've played in a long time. It's hard to actually pick a place to begin since there's so many good aspects to this level. I guess the best place to start would be the main gimmick. Functions well, it's fun to control, and the level design does a great job at easing you into it. Hello. The challenge steadily ramps up from there, with virtually every obstacle and enemy configuration being fun and engaging to float around, if a bit tight at times. I'll admit that I ended up face-planting into a lot of the hazards during my first playthrough, while this did help me discover that spikes in this stage are only damaging rather than instant death. This made the level a lot less overwhelming than it initially appeared. With that being said, there is one part that I did think was a bit much. During the ending auto-scroll segment, it's very easy to miss the first block pillar, the ones that shift from left to right. This can result in you being crushed the moment you try to ascend to the next part. That one moment aside there, the rest of the stage played out extremely well. For as much as I love the level itself, I think the end boss might just be my favorite thing in it. The main gimmick is incorporated into this fight wonderfully, throughout its different phases, which makes for a very entertaining and different sort of battle, at least compared to other Fortress-style Mega Man bosses. The only rough spot I encountered here is during his desperation survival phase. Occasionally you shoot 4 tiles worth of projectiles they need to slide under to avoid. I found the timing for dodging needs to be really strict. It's certainly doable, but more often than not I ended up getting hit by this attack formation. Overall though, that's just one small rough patch in the grand scheme of things. Absolutely amazing work with this one. Critical error in cascading. Neat and unique central gimmick with the orbs giving you temporary flights, and the stage definitely uses it to its full potential, combining it with Mario-like spinning firebars and fast-moving blocks serving as obstacles. Making for a pretty fun stage to play through. One problem is that there's too many variants that give out their own specific duration of flight. It can be hard to keep track of how long your flight actually is in the heat of the moment. With some orbs allowing reusage faster and some not recharging at all is another inconsistency.
What are you doing?
I'm not sure if there are any graphical distinctions between them. They can also get triggered by special weapons, where in some parts, like the all-scrolling section, you'll probably run out of flight at the wrong moment you decide to toggle these orbs with a different timing than the level was designed around. I appreciate that the spikes aren't instant death in this one because there is definitely an abundance of them there. Being crushed by this very fast wall is still instantly deathly though. The boss, which I assume is the system core in question, is pretty cool. The incorporation of the flight gimmick designed around some of its attack patterns. Though the balls can shift around so quickly that it can be hard to land shots on it. Also, the final phase can probably do without the constant firing sound drowning out the boss music, which is already way lower than the stage music. Audio mixing! Before recognizing a clever trick to entering the last token area, I noticed I was this close to getting there using the anti-grav buttons in the shaft below. This obvious, infuriatingly precise solution technically and eventually worked, but the incredible aggravation damaged my ability to fully enjoy this level. When I look into the meticulous care that went into every single screen, it makes me realize that I was an unobservant dunce. Still, I can think of ways that confusion could have been avoided. I wish I could shake off the residual frustration from my first playthrough, because I otherwise hold this level in very high regard.
Excuse me.
The atmosphere is outstanding. Graphics are characterized by detailed simplicity and a soothing color palette. I love the relaxed intensity of the main music, and the boss music is a great segue. Although the anti-grav buttons rely on color recognition, at least I can tell them apart. I have complaints, but not many. It's annoying that buttons are so often hidden behind the health bar. It's a jarring surprise if moving walls can pass through solid objects. In the long run, weapon refills would have been more useful than health at the last checkpoint. The boss, which doesn't strike me as a following system core, could have done without a prolonged encore of Magnitude's spiked wall man. However, the enemy roster is a perfect fit for these gimmicks, and every asset gets a chance to shine without overstaying its welcome. The learning curve is exquisite. Each challenge reflects a keen understanding of what players have learned and should be expected to demonstrate. It's a thrill to have total freedom of movement, counterbalanced by expertly measured time constraints and a bit of sharpshooting. The Mario-style fireball wands work well in this environment, and auto-scrolling is an excellent way to finish the level. This is a top-tier level, and I'm annoyed that I don't love it. I like this stage quite a bit, more than a bit actually. It's one that I think lends itself to replayability, mostly due to being fairly easy to learn but difficult to master. I dig that. It's a rarity that any stage in these contests makes you want to scratch a competitive itch or better you're playing, but this does. It's that switch-activated flight gimmick. It's very unique and fluid, and I tend to get the most enjoyment out of a well-designed mobility gimmick, and this stage does not expect too much of the player to see it through. It sees enough use to challenge a player, and builds upon itself just enough that the one real bright spot is the final climb. One final grand challenge, putting the skills you learn to the test, and what an excellent cap of what the stage is introduced. The side token challenges are also rather neat and often require weapon usage, but it was designed such that it causes the player to figure out what and how to use, which is my preferred way of making forced weapon usage feel earned, and not just use this obvious thing to progress. I might have preferred introducing the crushers in the main level first though, rather than in the side room, but that's a nitpick. It's also graphically very pleasing. Pretty tileset, details, animation, and parallax help the level come alive. Despite being one of many, many mineshaft levels in the contest, this one has a unique look to make it stand out. I do wish the new gimmick activators were a bit more obvious to see. I found they blended into tileset a bit much, which does hurt parsing what's going on during the really hectic segments, meaning some areas require more visual attention than dexterity skill.
It's loud.
But I have one part I really wasn't a fan of. I just do not like this stage's boss. Its problems are twofold. No time is devoted to any of its early patterns, so there's no real chance for the player to get used to them. So both parts of the first phases might as well not exist. Do one easy to dodge attack, move on, never see it again. Or maybe the player bungles dodging some of the other attacks so it's already moved on. Well, no real idea what it even did, so I guess only learning what on earth happened through repeat deaths. What I really found lacking is the final phase. You don't fight it, you time it out. At best, I despise bosses that time themselves out for reasons I'll explain later, but is dodging at least fun? I felt this also missed the mark. This whole phase feels like it drags. It's a confusing light show, and frankly the entire thing felt super unnatural timing-wise. It's one of the few places I felt I was fighting against the gimmick physics rather than mastering them. Failed dodges or mistimed often led you to being comboed with almost no feedback from the player's failure other than a health bar ticking down. Despite what might be some clever pattern dodging, it feels like the player has no agency in besting the boss. I didn't kill it, it just died, by itself, after a long sequence of not actually fighting it. That's a feel bad at worst and best and an anti-climax at worst. 2 health bars actually feel about right for a boss like this, but not as implemented. Maybe throw the final phase as a shorter attack cycle throughout the fight. Reuse early phases again so the player has to pay attention to attack tells rather than tossing out just single shot attacks. Too much going on and none of it sunk in. Now, whilst I do not hold this against the level or boss and is not a factor into the score, oh boy, this feels jank with the accessibility controls. That is not your fault, as these were not in the game at the time of level designing, but just the post-playthrough suggestion to others that find themselves needing them, turn them off for at least for this boss. I found the level is fine with them, but the boss is a bit better with them turned off. That all said, whilst I did not like the boss, the stage itself is so enjoyable and even replayable for me that I still came away very positive, and one of the few things preventing it from being labeled one of my favorites is the boss. That's a shame, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, it just overstayed that final phase.
Just keep swimming, nearly there.
Useful advice, but how exactly are you swimming?
What? It's easy. Mechanically, low gravity is exactly the same as water after all.
Huh, is that how aerodynamics works?
Yeah. You're looking at the original Hotchkiss model numero uno, the first of the flying combat staplers. Can't believe they made more than one out of one of me. It's nice and cold out here in space, but not too cold thanks to this tiny hat. Are you cold? Got a spare. Yeah.
What is this? You put it on you put it on his muzzle there.
Blizzard Resort by Cruise Elroy.
Bastion has some seal balancing.
92.
He's got some seal balancing skills going on with that there.
Oh, 1001 Spikes music. Ah, Bastion, thank goodness you're here. It's terrible. A gang of robot masters that look just like me have taken over my ski resort, and all my worker robots have gone crazy. I couldn't stop them myself. There are just too many of them for me to even deal with. If I'm ever going to have to take my resort back, it's important that you take those knockoffs down. Please, Bastion, help a friend of me in need. Well, you know, he built his nebulous ski resort.
Penguins! That's a lot of tokens in this level. See what I mean? It's like showing off his seal bouncing skills, and then we're fighting seals that in walruses.
I cannot play this level. There is just too much lag.
Really?
Yeah. It's the snow. Yeah, that's a one-way screen transition. I think you gotta die.
How do I get that then?
Good
By
question.
not setting off the snow? Yeah, just not set off the snow, I guess. That is a very tight jump, wow. May as well just use weaponry for it. Fallen Flakes. Well, not Susie. Susie's not a flake, but that was certainly timing to do that, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, I cannot play this stage. It is just too laggy.
Huh, that's kind of neat.
Ski lift. An Easter egg? Or tanks or something?
Ooh. Buster only for that? That's going to be
Is Mr. T.
a very rough little token there. Wow. What? I guess we can go backwards there. I thought the sparks were gonna hurt me. Jeez, the timing on that is awful. Ah! Rusty! The timing on that jump is really frick. We can't even use anything else in there, it says.
How rude.
Ah, that is so awful! That is so hard to time that. Ah. Oh.
Yay!
Jeez, that was really hard to time. Can I help you, Rusty? Seals are immune to snow? What? Well, snowfall. Meow. What do you even have, cat? Aye.
He's a rusty bunny.
He's a cat with something.
Kitties, please.
What? Meow. Cold.
More 1001 Spikes music. I think.
I don't remember these seal enemies. That is a lot of damage, holy crap! Oh jeez. Rusty! You were distracting me. It's a good thing Bastion can handle snow stuff now, I guess. Outside of Fluff. Fluff! Bomb seals!
Susie gonna be happy about that.
That is pretty awful there. Especially with the enemies? Jeez.
Yay!
Okay, it doesn't crush you, so that's good. Uh-oh. Oh.
Why is there snow falling underwater?
Ah. Ah! That is going to suck. Wow. It's low gravity mountain? I don't know. E. Go away! Jeez, that is like did way too much damage.
Squid.
Oh, this is kind of a pain in the butt to...
I can't even see what you're doing.
It's lagging that much?
Yes.
The heck? I even have this thing set up for, like... That's crazy that it does that. I have this set up for low latency too.
Yeah, that probably doesn't even do anything.
Ow.
Oh, my jump almost jumped.
That's kind of crazy that it caused that much. It's not even causing a problem on Twitch. Oh, we're gonna have a puzzle here. This is gonna be extremely annoying.
At least the weapon refills seem to respawn. Yeah. Oops. Magnet beam. Yay!
CE.
More like ICE.
What? Whoa! What was that
I think
hitbox?
this is also 1001 Spikes. The music, I mean.
He is very hard to hit. What the heck? I have to have, like, precise timing to hit him. And I have the feeling I have to fight the others, too. Yep. This is gonna suck. Jeez. Ah, this is a kind of a pain in the butt. Come on, really? Even more? This is a long boss. What the heck?
Get him!
That does a ridiculous amount of damage. What the heck? That took way more energy tanks than I wanted to use at all, but... Jeez, what a long boss. What the heck? They really should have given you an energy tank or something before that boss, if they're gonna have that long of a boss.
No, no, it's a duplicate.
Jeez.
Okay, this is definitely getting points for being pretty. I largely adore the aesthetic here, the only off parts being the underwater room and the continuity error with some falling snow suddenly vanishing. And it's supported by fairly strong design. The custom Genshin is plain great. The Polar Night-esque snow is generally brilliant, especially with tokens. And the ski lifts had excellent variety, as well as just being a nice mutation on Guts lifts. Combined with an excellent selection of enemies, props for using both custom and dev kit enemies fairly well. We've got a cool offering. It's not to say the experience is a perfect Wonderland. There's a few parts where I was less than enthused. The primary frustration was the second token, the Buster-only ski lift. I'm not sure how, but it felt way too nasty for what was essentially the third encounter with the gimmick, and sticks out like a sore thumb in an otherwise solid difficulty curve, bringing down my enjoyment. For a lesser issue, while the Snowflakes and Blizzard Man enemies are used well. The most memorable Bomber Pepe was the one time one jumped on the ski lift and then tried his absolute darndest not to be scrolled off screen. The unused Mega Man 4 seals also didn't get nearly enough attention, which is a crying shame given that's twice now this enemy's been underutilized or more. Still, if those are the only real issues with the level, then I'd say it's got a good show going. Alas, the boss is a lot less polished. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Blizzard Men are hilarious, but their fight can run about as long as the average stage on one checkpoint. This is mostly chalked up to invincibility time, as they have a lot more than they really need. Granted, Donatello's invincibility is just staying out of reach, and Leonardo's only iframes are when Michelangelo's rolling in front of him. However, all it takes is for your timing to be a little off, and these guys rapidly outstay their welcome. The Leo-Michael team was the most annoying part. If you kill Leonardo first, solo Michelangelo spends far too much time invulnerable. If you kill Michelangelo first, as I did on my first try, he and Lou will desync in short order, making an annoying mess to dodge, and then solo Leonardo just fell spammy with the constant movement and blizzard attack. To be frank, this battle is not worth fighting Buster only. It's better off using weapons to blow through it. Thankfully, the Blizzard Megazord ends things on a high note. He looks amazing, and he has both the variety and vulnerability of a Blizzard Ranger sorely needed. Unfortunately, his cores and his arms will also desync, which can make dodging a royal pain if you don't shoot out the one core at a time. Also really sucks if you die against him, since you have to fight all 4 Blizzard men just to get another crack at him. The idea is cool and the payoff is well worth it, but the Blizzards need a lot of polish. I don't think I had this much fun in a while. It's not a knock against ice or snow stages as a whole, mind you. And compared to this level though, it's really hard to think of one that matches the design seen here. Everything is introduced exceptionally well here, from both old to new elements. The unstable snow blocks are easily my favorite of these, since they work really well as both helpful platforms and obstacles. The challenge for the last token in particular puts this on full display. The ski lifts, meanwhile, are a bit less exciting, but they're still implemented relatively well. The only time I was ever really irked by them was when I was trying to get the second token. The time to get through that room feels a little too early in the stage. It feels a little too strict for it to be so early in the stage, especially only 2 screens after a lift's introduction. It's a small bump along the way, to be sure, but it didn't ruin my experience with the level either. There is one much more major problem I have though, the boss fight. The main problem with the Blizzard Man is the really small grace period you get to actually deal damage to them. They're Their low HP certainly helps curb this a bit, but they still only leave enough time to get in 1, maybe 2 hits if you're being really fast, the blue one being the only exception. The second phase was far easier by comparison, and not to a point of being a letdown. Far from it, actually. From that, I can't really fault the stage for much else. Everything is so well put together. From the level design to the aesthetics, it's more than worth going through multiple times. Fantastic work. Robot Masters in a half, Snowball, Blizzard Power! It's a cute level, though I might just have a bit of bias with snow levels in general. I like the little cutscene where Mega Man falls into the snow pile and he does a little twitching before getting up. Little touches like that really add charm and personality to the stage. Lift thingies, they're definitely creative and fitting for a resort-based level. While a noble idea, it can be a bit hard to find a rhythm with how they spin a bit when they spawn in. Before the hitbox truly becomes tangible, it's especially problematic in that one token room. Speaking of, maybe don't disable utilities in parts where players would struggle without them. That's what they're made for, alternatives for when you need them. Please don't just take them away. I like the Snowblock Avalanche gimmick too, quite creative and nicely used as a puzzle element as demonstrated in the token room. Overall, just a very unique snow-themed level from these creative gimmicks alone. And still making pretty good use of them throughout. The caveat though, a not so teenage, not so mutant, not so ninja, definitely not turtle Blizzard Man at the end. It's definitely quite an endurance of a fight. First 2 men are very learnable, then the last 2 men are just a button mash mess. What makes it worse is that one goes berserk if you kill one too early, making it even more chaotic having to adapt to one more distinct pattern on the fly. I would have put a checkpoint between the 4-phase fight and this big form fight. I just had no patience left after dealing with the non-trivial preliminaries, only have to do them all over again after dying to the big guy fight. Within seconds, you had me hooked. Gorgeous graphics with stupendous snow effect. I'm a sucker for snow. Pleasant music, a charming premise communicated through full fun NPC dialogue, and then a series of warm-up challenges that prepare the player for what's ahead, including a mild puzzle in the form of a nicely telegraphed token challenge. The first stretch is perfect, and the rest of the level strives to uphold that standard. Ski lifts are such a clever addition and handled intelligently. Smooth introduction, extremely clear breaks in the track, and satisfyingly difficult usage. The squid fight is awesome, and the token challenge is an exemplar of weapon limitations done right. The cutscene around the midpoint wordlessly keeps the story moving. The new challenges in the second half shake up the status quo while continuing to build on the first half. So good. My complaints are mostly minor. A couple setups, such as the one with dual text too close together, could use a touch more polish. Challenge arcs and checkpoint placement aren't quite synced up. Two-way transitions are used inconsistently. Most notably, the public progression for the last token isn't terribly smooth, and it's very possible to get stuck, despite the thoughtful power-ups and pass-through platforms. I often criticize bosses for having too many health bars. This one's an exception. The intro is a good laugh, and it sets expectations for how long the fight will be. Arguably, the second form is too hard to hit, and the third form is a little brutal, but special weapons and a bit of practice transform the fight from slightly tedious to fast-paced fun. I like the replay value of the third form, and I love the surprise finale. The variety, story integration, and total fairness of the boss make it work. Fantastic level. Oh, this is such a good stage. A very cool stage, as it were. Yeah, I'll let myself out. An immediate highlight from the get-go is just some excellent atmosphere, music, and graphics. It's gorgeous. I can't praise enough just how much this stage nails it in the aesthetic department. There's some rather frequent mixed pixel issues with higher screen resolutions with the snowfall, which could be something to pay attention to in the future, but this is a nitpick. The two main gimmicks of the stage, the snow blocks and ski lifts, grok really well, and the stage continues to build on both of these assets the further it goes in. The nature of the ski lift, though, especially makes this a difficult stage overall, and rather heavily reliant on instant death for its challenge. Let's face it, the player is probably only going to die here due to bottomless pits, but good checkpoint placement really helps mitigate any frustration factor. It's easy to just slap constant checkpoints down to solve this, but this stage strikes the perfect balance. I have to remind myself that Mega Man 11 wasn't out when we were making a dev kit, so I'm glad to see that the spread enemy gets to show up here. It's a nice reactive enemy type that relies heavily on the player finding ways around their counterattack and a natural fit to the stage. I also really enjoy the token challenges, although that first token is just mean owing to the lack of easy reset. The rest get the fallback on checkpoints. The level also ends on a rather unique Teenage Mutant Blizzard Man group, and this fight is fun. He's hard, and at a whopping 8 health bars, ran the risk of being utterly miserable to fight, but smartly, these health bars are almost just for aesthetic purposes and phase transitions. Thanks to all 5 Blizzard men having really dirt poor defense. This is a good way of utilizing a mechanical large health pool. That said, the third phase of the boss against the Leo Blizzard and Mikey Blizzard isn't the best. Mikey Blizzard standing so long in an invulnerable state is just a bit tedious. It doesn't sink the fight, but it just drags on just a bit much. The final phase is utterly chaotic. It took several attempts to actually find a rhythm to it and decipher what was going on. The prior attempts just felt like a damage race. Weapons shred the boss though, and after a few replays I see what the phase was going for. But as I said, the fight is overall fun and unique. With more tweaking to that third phase, we have a contender for one of my favorites. And ultimately, the entire level is one of my favorite levels in the contest. You've done a spectacular job here. Well done.
Woohoo!
Onward to 6th place. Let's get some soda. Oh, Ball, I'll never forget you. I'll never play in low gravity again, my poor friend. Oh, straight to the moon. 6th place, just a water level by In-Universe.
Lots of tokens. There- Gotta have the video reference everywhere, huh? It's still funny that that pops up in a lot of these fan games, doesn't it? And
I guess.
I didn't realize it originated with Vinny's. Corruptions.
I got the monks or something.
What's that?
The enemies. They're called Glunk.
Glunk. No, no!
Oh, this is really hard.
Eh? Oh, that's right, we can fall down here. I was like, wait. Wow, that's just somebody's stereo pumping. I thought it was a rocket launch. It is not.
Bubble.
I guess.
Oh, infinite water shield. Okay. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Go!
This looks like it might be a little hard to multiplayer.
Yep.
Ah! This is going to be really annoying. Yeah, this is going to be like super annoying. Oh!
Aw, you almost made it.
I don't see how the bubble gets through that. I don't think it can. Ow.
Oops.
Yeah, it really doesn't seem like the bubble can get through that. But how is the bubble supposed to get through that? It doesn't even get through the first section. What?
Oops.
I am out of... Ah!
Got it? Oh.
Don't use that! It is so annoying when it, like, uses your energy tank sometimes. This bubble, I can't tell if it's because it's multiplayer or if this bubble mechanic just doesn't work.
Squid.
Gordos everywhere. Who is stinging and why?
A
Luna.
puppy. Oh, whoop. Why did my laptop fall asleep? Wake up.
Luna, please don't. God. God, these tokens are a pain in the butt, man. God. I gotta use another E-tank. Those squids can just like home in on you before you can get to them when you're in the bubble.
Nice.
Ah, pain in the butt.
Easter egg down there. Okay.
This level is annoying me. You have to use all these E-tanks just to get through it. Jeez. It's a long level, too.
Woo!
Can you not? Jeez. It's hard to navigate. Wait. Do I... Okay. Woo. What? Ah, jeez. I don't know, man. This level is very annoying. Crabman.
Yay!
Ghost Woman.
Ghost Woman! Let's see... 86. Not bad. Only one score over 90.
It's just an average, I guess.
Hey, I know that naming scheme. Guess that's not going away anytime soon. But despite appearances, if this were truly just a water level, it wouldn't be very interesting. But instead, this level supplements standard water shenanigans with a bunch of bubbles and an uncommon set of enemies. For enemies, it was a treat to see Sheldon and Surveymaker hanging around, especially since Surveymaker got the chance to swim around a bit. On the sillier side, I didn't expect the Kirby enemies in a typical water level, but Gordos and Glunk work really well as obstacles. Finally, the missile-dropping water bug rounds them off as a good side challenge. As for the gimmick, the bubble mechanic is a highlight of the level. It handles extremely well. I appreciate the ability to increase and slow your movement, and the stationary bubble jumps are a nice twist into something new. There's also water too, and I appreciate how the spikes are both very obvious and tend to just be damage spikes. The restraint is appreciated. With a strong set of gimmicks and enemies, I'm glad this has solid level design to accommodate them. Everything is introduced remarkably well, particularly the bubbles and yellow clunks. And the level maintains a constant growth and variety, keeping things interesting. Wouldn't say it's perfect. I found the water bugs, I didn't realize it being level, though Bubble Crab is a big help. The ability to break bubbles with jumping isn't smoothly introduced, and the token challenges tend to screw up the difficulty curve. However, even together, these aren't very big issues. The level is overall a blast to play with fun ideas and a solid flow that I largely adore. Top it all off with a pretty aesthetic, albeit with a few misplaced tiles and semi-glitchy boss doors, and we got something real solid. In general, this level is top-notch. It doesn't have a ton of wow factors, something it's well aware of given the name, but what it is has a solid design and a lot of fun ideas. As far as water levels go, this is pretty freaking close to best in show. Now this, right here, is a really well put together stage. I've always liked water levels in the Mega Man series, or at the very least the potential for what they could offer. I always thought they could easily distance themselves from the usual stigma that water levels seem to carry. In those regards, the stage definitely escapes that stigma. Starting off, the presentation for this level is wonderful. The overall aesthetics here are nice, with the background and tiles being limited to a cool color palette, and not to the point where it becomes monotonous either. As far as the stage design itself goes, there's some good pacing with its introduction to enemies and gimmicks, and then ramping things up a bit from there on. The bubble segments in particular are easily my favorite parts of the stage, seeing as you have a pretty good amount of control all in them. You can even shoot without popping it. They're handled way better here than when Tengu Man stage tries something similar, that's for sure. If I had to bring up any issues though, it's that maybe the stage is a bit on the easy side. None of the spikes in the level seem to be insta-death, which I'm grateful for, but it does attract some tension from most of the bubble segments. I'm not going to knock that against the level too badly, because I still find those segments to be legitimately very enjoyable. Other than that, I was also a little confused about giving us the option to have an infinite use water shield. Outside that one token room with the invincible bomb dropping enemy, I couldn't think of any other use for it. Then again, that's probably saying more about Water Shield itself than anything else. Lastly, we have the end boss. Bubble Crab feels a bit off, mostly because his iframes seem to last slightly longer than usual. I have no idea why that's the case, but even more iframes at his disposal, I still found them to be relatively easy to take down without even thinking much on the fight itself or his attacks. It's not exactly the most climactic way to end the stage, but for what it's worth, I still found it very memorable. Not a jail. Obviously, the name caught my attention in thinking it might be a parody of just an ice level. It's not. It's way better than that level. It makes use of its gimmick very well. The creative bubble usage and the side challenges, the tokens especially, are the highlights for me. The end of the stationary bubbles you need to hop across is my favorite part of the main stage. It's such a unique take on the bubble gimmick.
Though I hate to say, the controller bubbles are a little awkward. You don't really actually move down.
Pressing down only halts it in the same elevation. The camera also jitters a bit while doing precision movements, notably around the spikes. I also noticed there's strange decimal damage values on some of the enemies. It doesn't really affect gameplay, just kind of weird. The boss is an interesting one. It's more of a horde management battle where the main threat is the water skipper enemies that are being dispensed at an increasing rate. When the water gets lowered, it's actually more helpful than harmful, as it makes it easier getting rid of the skippers. If the attention to detail is the difference between a good level and a great one, I can safely say this is a great level. Look at how the background gets darker as you sink deeper into the water. Look at the direction layers that make the bubble introduction even smoother. Look at the conveniently fast exits from the token challenges, the intelligently implemented soft screen borders, and the little shortcuts for people who have mastered the special weapons. Look at how the boss pulls in elements from across the entire level and how his enemy generators curiously explode when he does. The big picture is equally deliberate: buoyant music, eye-catching graphics, and organic architecture to establish a firm sense of place. Fair, meaningful challenges that continually teach and then test the player. Damage spikes instead of regular ones. Perfectly placed checkpoints and timely power-ups. A blend of Kirby, classic Mega Man, and Mega Man X in the enemy roster works surprisingly well, and nothing overstays its welcome except maybe Glunku is entirely too sturdy. Things that change: faster load times, fewer two-way transitions, an easier second token, hidden beautifully but too difficult too soon, a clear exit from the last token, and the ability to pop bubbles while riding Rush Bike. Also, why do you need a water shield? The screen count is fairly sizable, but the level never feels long. Still, it wouldn't hurt to condense the enemy-centric areas, minus the clever one with the invincible water bug. There are nice palette cleanser between the bubble sections, but here for the gimmicky goodness of navigating creative obstacle courses. The maneuverable bubbles live up to their detail, and I love the twist with the stationary bubbles. The last stretch is especially superb. Overall, this is thoroughly professional, just plain fun. The care and detail that has obviously gone into this level elevates it from being just a water level. Little things such as moving through the background when traveling the pipes, and the many layers of parallax scrolling create an element of depth and life to the level. Even the use of slopes on curved edges gives the stage a very polished and natural feel. The same care goes into how things are introduced in the level. Enemies were initially demonstrated before they were a real danger, and the gimmicks, particularly something as complex as the bubble, had to be understood to be able to progress.
This is considered a simple and effective way to ignore confusion.
The stationary bubble was also a really effective reuse of an existing asset in your level. Giving the player infinite use of Water Shield makes her an interesting challenge and lets the player choose how to tackle the stage. It does not change the difficulty as much as make the stage feel different. Graphically, the level is well constructed, drawn, and has a very professional feel to it. Care has been put into the color palette so enemies and especially spikes stand out. The music is awesome. The boss was a simple change to the original Bubble Crab fight, which still felt like a new, reasonably fresh fight. I saw the boss coming from a mile away, impressive considering it is not from the classic series. It just feels like a natural fit. There are a couple of small niggles to point out. The bubble seems to have a square hitbox, making judging collision difficult at times. Especially so with some of the round spikes. The tokens seem to be a very large difficulty spike, which made the level after the tokens seem a little simple. The sea anemones, Glunk, had a bit too much health for killing with the Buster, and the level did end up feeling a bit samey as background and color scheme never changes. Despite this, these are very small points that do not significantly harm the level, and overall this is an excellent submission. 5 left!
Yep.
Even an old misery guts like me can't deny it. This tournament is fun. Wish I could stay in this moment forever. Oh wait, I can. Roll. Oops, sorry, as you were. My scissors. I threw them and they never came back. Can't afford to lose them. They're my whole identity. To put it bluntly, I need your help. Please, find my scissors. I feel so dull-witted with nothing on my head.
Oh.
Shinryu's favorite. Bronze favorite. Dunes of Discharge by End Blast. Hi, presto. I just thought I'd be super into having parasocial fans, but now that I have one, my reactions are mixed. I get it. Hardman respects me a lot. He and I, we see eye to eye. Challenge is the spice of life. You know, I'm competing in the tournament right now. You can have a nice lunch at a diner after I win. Plumber in a cape taught me the art of pulling back on my parachute to stay in the air. Why wasn't that built into my programming? That'd be like you not knowing you can jump over bottomless pits. You do know that, right? Please tell me you're not learning basic survival from disembodied head clutching of that cheat. Look out below! Yeah, Garage jumped on me once and came back. I think I'm in love. 5 tokens. Heals.
I wonder what this music's from.
Yeah.
This wasn't from Spark, was it?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Lucky Sevens! And it's gone. Custom sheet blocks.
And then the mix with count bombs too.
Oh, it's like diffuse. Oh, okay, neat. It's like using a couple blocks to diffuse it. Oh, I had to go along the bottom. Oop.
Mistake. A mistake was made. Whoops.
I hit the slide button, darn it! A little spot of leg. On the upside, I haven't noticed any dropped inputs yet, so maybe it was just the PS4 controller. See, that's a much better use of the thing. You want to pop back in, or... There we go. Boobs. That's some tight timing. Oh hey, these are different this time. And they're not doing absurd damage like they usually do in people's levels. I mean, it's still a lot of damage, but... Some tight timing on this. Bag that better.
Shocker sheet cylinder, metal rod. Found together in modern Iraq, these artifacts are either dated from either Parthian or Phoenician empires reigning between 150 BC and 650 AD. While the origin and purpose of these items remain unclear, researchers hypothesize that these function as galvanic battery cells. Experiments have shown that putting all components together and filling them with acidic electrolyte, like grape juice, can indeed produce an electric current. But there are more hypotheses about the true purpose of the battery. 2000X, more archaeological research is still undergoing near this facility, trying to uncover more historical mysteries. Oh, that's what those guys are. Okay.
Ah! It would have been nice to grab that, but whatever. Oh. Oh, they make glass. Okay, then. Ouch. Jeez! Zip zoom! Ow. Very ow.
Oh boy, got a long one here. Go, go, go! Yes! Go, go, go! Ouch. Uh-oh. I think you have to shoot it first.
Well, I can lag out there, I guess.
Let's go! Oops.
What? That's a weird thing to kill by lag. Uh-oh.
Oops.
Ooh. Jeez, that does a lot of damage.
Yes! Please, due to safety reasons, please use this teleport if you want to go back to the beginning of the corridor.
Ah.
Okay.
A reset in case you missed a token. Okay, that's nice and appreciated. Gravity Man.
Gravity Man! It's Shantae music. Oh, is that where it's from?
Maybe, yeah.
It's from Risky's Revenge.
Ah! Battery Man.
It is me, Battery Man, and it was I that took over this facility. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Cut it out, Gravity Man. I know you're scared of maintenance techs more than humans fear dentists. But isn't it too much? You break into this facility, you terrorize the staff, and you steal from the local hat shop so your Mets can pose as Oriental dancing troupe? I believe that's enough. Let's go home.
It seems that you don't understand the gravity of the... It seems that you don't understand who is in charge here. Behold my galvanic quarry! Yay! Electric Boogaloo!
Boogly 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 boob.
Alright. Oh, there was a score under 80. Now this is a fine level. Not only is it expertly designed, but the concept of combining desert and lightning gimmicks is something I haven't actually seen yet. Basically every aspect is used well. The electric Mets are an alright enemy, but they make even better invincible obstacles. The button blocks are an excellent twist on sheep blocks, and the way they use is nothing short of excellent. And I really enjoy the combination between quicksand and elect beams, especially as a nerd who knows how glass is made. This is combined with a really fun designed curve, slowly introducing and building on various assets until it culminates in an awesome final challenge. This is just plain great. For some personal highlights, I really like the bracket shape room that blocked off Dan's Mets. That was their best showing as an obstacle, and it was so satisfying to dodge them all. The altered Suzuki and Phoenix are much more fun than the originals. The variety between them is a big help. Both of the longer button block rooms are especially fun. Incredibly fun. I especially like how you use tokens to reward exceptional play. Mad props for that backtracking teleport. Players will appreciate that. And Gravity Battery Man was not only hilarious, but he was also a fun fight. There are some suggestions I'd like to make, but they're pretty small. Well, on the less important end, I felt Mega Man felt weirdly out of place here. Well, it has excellent aesthetics, don't get me wrong, but they're just different enough for Mega Man himself to... Additionally, while the second token has an awesome challenge, the sheer number of spikes is awkward for how early and how level it is. And jumping down to the first token instead of climbing leads to irritating instant damage. On the more prominent end, I get the intent behind the Baghdad battery, but I just found it annoying, and while I like the warning signs for the beetles, I found they got boring compared to everything else. Now they're not very interesting, but they can pull off more variety than bug schemes. Still, the issues I have are pretty small, and I overall enjoyed this. It didn't completely suck me in, but it's a very well crafted piece regardless. This deserves to get in the top tier. In terms of pure platforming, this is easily one of the best designed stages in the whole contest as far as I'm concerned. That's not to say the other aspects of it are lacking either. Honestly, there's so many good things about the stage it's a little hard to pick a place to start. For one, I love the take on the Sheepman blocks in this stage. Their use as both time barriers and in race to the finish type scenarios aren't necessarily new concepts, but the elongated timer on them allows for much more interesting room layouts. This is played especially well in conjunction with the other gimmicks later on in the stage. On that note, I absolutely love the interaction between the electric surges and the falling sand. The resulting glass shards can be a little tough to avoid at times, especially in some of the smaller rooms. But it's still pretty manageable given you can destroy the shards as well. If I had to nitpick though, I guess the only thing I dislike about the stage would be some of the setups involving the Baghdad batteries. Their fast-moving projectiles coupled with their small weak point typically make them kind of a pain to take on without being really careful, which is a bit of an issue when they start showing up in situations where you're pressed for time. Granted, they're not that hard to take down, but I did find myself switching to the laser trident more often than not whenever they showed up. That one issue aside, I really enjoyed the rest of the level. The whole section leading up to the end boss in particular was nicely done, and I really appreciate giving us the option to redo the segment in case you messed up and didn't have enough time to get the tokens. Speaking of which, Battery Man also manages to be a pretty engaging and fun boss. Especially like how the glass shards are incorporated into the fight, along with the little meter at the bottom to help better telegraph when he's about to jump to one of the side platforms. All in all, this is a very easy choice for my favorite levels in this contest. Fantastic work. Sand of Overtime and Space. A definitely unique theme, combining aspects of a desert and electric level together. I especially like the sheep block merged with a countdown timer. It makes for some engaging sections. I'm a sucker for custom meds, and naturally I love the little bonus here. And one of them disguising itself as part of the sign is a cute touch. The crystals formulating from a laser and sand is also a unique touch to make a dropper generator of sorts. The difficulty is set just right for the level, as most of the timers are generous enough that you can get sidetracked a bit while still making it to the end. I also really appreciate that there's a teleport to go back and do the final timer sequence in case you missed a token. A little bit of an oversight in the one token room near the beginning, where you can dive into the quicksand and slide to the other side to postpone activating the timer. The fight at the end with Totally Not Gravity Man is also quite thrilling. His attacks look super intimidating and dangerous, but as long as you position right to dodge the crystals, it's perfectly manageable. Intentionality is such an important part of good design, and I can tell that a tremendous amount of consideration and planning went into this level. It's a beautifully crafted learning curve and steady difficulty progression. It's a clear telegraphing of upcoming hazards and the sneaky surprises that are totally fair. It's the focused variety that keeps the level consistently interesting to play.
And look at you on the screencast, are you seeing the alerts?
It's the little touches, like the elemental tweaks to the mini-boss animations, and the fact that the boss's name keeps changing during his dialogue. The challenges have been polished to perfection. Multiple playstyles are accommodated, checkpoints and power-ups appear in all the right places, time sections are the perfect balance of forgiving and demanding, and enemy swarms never feel like enemy spam. I like how the boss's attack pattern connects with the rest of the level. The only problems I have with are unlabeled bottomless pits and some odd architecture early on that briefly weirds the level flow. A couple technical issues are also worth noting. Switch activated blocks should all be off by default, both for consistency and to avoid an odd glitch as possible after using a very thoughtful return teleport at the end of the highly satisfying final area. Not all special weapons acknowledge when enemies are invincible. I expect a dink noise and or visual effect. I can't tell whether medals are supposed to be able to climb over low walls. It looks glitchy. But any shortcomings are forgivable, and it's purely personal preference accounting for any restraint in my enthusiasm. I am modestly wowed by the overall experience, but massively impressed by the thoughtfulness and quality of the level design. Music, theming, and anything else I didn't bother to mention, everything works. First off, certain aspects of the stage did not land as well for me the second time when I finally got to play it. This is another notable stage where Loyana initially played as a proxy, but that would be unfair on me to change it now, and clearly my initial notes reflect positively. I honestly don't know if this is just a thing where having another person next to you helps things land or not, so going with my initial thoughts when it comes to that, and this will be noted as such. Almost all of the foundational aspects of the level, such as the theme, gimmicks, and most enemies, gel together really well. The re-implementation of Sheepman's gimmick was the best bit of the stage and feels like such an obvious improvement of the original idea that I'm surprised I have not seen it before. It fixes all of the issues I had with the original gimmick in one go and makes the stage well above average just by its inclusion. The other revisited ideas work really well on the stage. Using sand as a vertical platform was a gimmick I've always liked, and just changing the attacks of the mid-boss make it feel like a whole new fight. A fight that's seen so often in this contest, but this worked. The token rooms are fun and all different, even building on a sort of floor to this stage. The last score of the stage brings everything together nicely. The final time sections, although obvious, ramps up the tension well and flow most of the time. Battery Gravity Man was somewhat unpredictable, but nevertheless felt like a fair fight. One exception was the pink electric shot. Which seemed both too fast and was impossible to predict where it was being fired, as it never seemed to aim correctly. I thought I understood it when watching Loyana, but in practice even I struggled. However, I always like boss fights that bring in stage assets, so reasoning the dropping glass was a nice touch. The two new enemies let the stage down a bit. As soon as you fail to kill the net enemy, it becomes very frustrating to deal with it. It accelerates too quickly. It doesn't quite work with the terrain, clipping over blocks as it shouldn't appear to. The Baghdad battery was particularly annoying given how charge shots are ineffective and you were often given very little space to deal with both the attacks and the opportunities to hit it. Finally, the theming in the level felt a bit generic, and seeing the electricity involved in the stage probably would have made it feel less so. Despite this, the stage was fun to play, and that is the most important thing. It is, in fact, a good Mega Man level. Finally, the humor. My memories say this landed. I remember laughing. I remember the museum getting a hearty laugh out of me, a rare accomplishment. And I didn't know when I got... And it didn't when I got to play it? I don't know why. It's in the notes. Maybe at this point, judging by myself, I've seen so many unfunny situations that my sense of humor is melted. I'm going to go with my past self and Leon and say this stage is funny.
Sorry,
Or
cut.
left. Excuse me, I'd like to scratch my back in peace, thank you. Wait, does your back itch too? Take my umbrella. Versus the back scratching a pinch. Heh.
That works. Yeah, so just holding it up with some tentacles up there, I guess.
You know that game where people pick flower petals to see if someone loves them? I do that too. That is, I shear off people's appendages saying, he dreads me not. It's fun. We should play sometime. Crew and I, we've been hired to build some pretty crazy mansions before. But the opulence of this place busts me bonds like... I really have to show this earnest guy the credentials. Speaking of, that entry over there has some really well-lit rollouts. It took more than one hit from a hammer to keep them down. Supposedly they're meant to be invincible, but I suppose I'm just made of sterner stuff. Like I say, every building has something its makers didn't account for, except mine if the turning host asks. The invincible robot,
That was 6 down here, wasn't it?
yeah.
Oh no, that was 5th.
No, that's 5.
Yes, this is
The
4.
Invincible Robot Army, featuring Shoe Man by Phazon Mother Brain, Ace Spark and Patchy's gold favorites.
It's the usual suspects getting up top here.
2 scores under 80.
Huh. Shoe Man, of course.
Woohoo! Yay! Boing, boing, boing. I like the bouncing power-ups.
Wahoo!
Huh. Okay.
Don't know if they got
Okay. They got shoes. Okay. Oh, it only disables them for a while. Okay. Hey! Yay!
shoes. Clink, 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 clink. Whoa!
Look at that skinny boy. Has to be Laser Trident. Okay. Bye.
Oh, that's right, we didn't buy those.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Okay.
Lushy good.
Ah, okay. Whoa.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Oh, hi. Yes! Oh no, I'm dead.
Yeah, that's interesting that you can blow them over on other sides on top of the thing.
This is just a really cool level. I love it.
Yep. Phazon, Mother Brain, and Snowrump Pyro are like everywhere. I think Phazon, Mother Brain, it's made Mario and Maggle stuff too.
Pretty sure they have, yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yay!
Shoe man. Hey.
Turn to Dreamland boss fight music.
Whoa. I get the feeling it's the boss that brought the score down in this.
You should try. Well, now that I'm back, I'm gonna break dash in and see if they gets knocked down earlier.
That'd be a good use of break dash.
Yep.
It's like a Mega Man X boss weakness.
Yeah.
Oh! Well, you caught it right! That was like... rounder.
A superb plastic recreation of Mega Man 5. I wish I had recorded the moment when I realized the level's name wasn't hyperbole. It was a sight to behold. But despite the alienating concept, the level design is both smooth and silly. Everything's invincible to conventional weaponry, sure, but everything's dodgeable, and there's plenty of hazards and traps around to kill things. Combined with a high degree of enemy variety and loads of fun weapon interactions, the end result is a level that doesn't smell like stinky feet. Personal highlight has to be a chase sequence. I never thought Dakone's footsteps would be intimidating, but somehow we have exactly that. Unfortunately, while this has solid design and entertaining gameplay, I can't say this level really grabbed my attention as well as others of similar quality. The core of this issue is the visual theming or the lack thereof. The graphics aren't necessarily bad, but considering it's a Robot Master stage, Hornet Man has a garden, Chill Man's somewhere in the Arctic, Gravity Man's got a lab themed around pushing and pulling. Even Ring Man still has a distinct visual theme. Shoe Man stage looks like a generic fortress stage with a couple shoes in it. And the lackluster theming distracts so much from my experience. Having good design is important, but interesting visuals are similarly important. Combined with the level being fairly easy and it doesn't grab me as well as others in the contest, still, this handles smoothly, and the bosses live up to the creativity of the level design. Shoe Master reminds me of Zelda bosses with the 3 hits and dead bit, and he's about everything I want in a mid-boss, so the first time can be an utter pushover, even Buster only. Shoe Man himself? Probably the most impressive part of the level for me. Being a respectable boss is one thing, but I appreciate that he hits all the notes of a good Robot Master fight while still using his level gimmick. I particularly like that he has a working weakness, even if it goes a bit into Mega Man 7 territory with how easily it crushes him. He was just plain fun, like a good portion of his level. If this was just a little more visually interesting, it'd probably be one of my favorites. I had no idea what to expect when I first saw the title of this level. Not only does it turn out to be accurate, but the stage itself is also pretty good. I love the whole idea behind this level. The fact that you can't kill enemies through normal means opens up a ton of unique ideas for even the most basic of situations. And this level takes great advantage of that. I also really like how nearly every weapon causes some sort of reaction, either with the enemies or the platforms. It adds a bit more depth to the mechanics here, but at the same time I can't help but feel it's something of a double-edged sword. Because it's spent so much time showcasing how the weapons affect everything, a decent chunk of the stage feels like it's stuck in an intro segment of the whole intro test master formula. It's not something that ruins the entire stage, far from it in fact, but it's still rather noticeable if you're going for all the tokens. Beyond that, I only have 2 other problems here. First, there's the aesthetics. The overall look of the stage is relatively fine. It's nothing special, but it's not bad either. If anything, the only bad-looking part of this level is the giant Dakone enemy. It looks really awful compared to everything else being all stretched and squashed like that. Before I get into the other major issue, I want to stress something first. I really like Shoe Man's boss fight. He's one of the few instances of a wait-for-the-opening type boss that I can think of that's pretty fun and not all that tedious, which is why it really hurts to see how his weakness absolutely trivializes the battle. I know that weapon weaknesses are there to give you an edge against bosses, but there's a big difference between having an advantage and completely shutting down the fight. Even with those issues, however, I still think this is a pretty good stage that takes an approach that's not seen too often. Great work.
They had the Mega Man X or Mega Man 8 style.
You have to hit him twice with Break Dash to make him fall over.
Knock his shoes off. Both his shoes. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know, it'd just be a visual indicator to hit him twice with it.
Enemy secret upgrades. Can we defeat it? I really love this one. The funny sprites of how the enemies interact with your special weapons and the environments, the whole concept of them wearing shoes to protect themselves from being burnt, and that the stage is still very much played fairly despite the enemies are invulnerable to your normal shots. It's all brilliant. Weapon blocks are all laid out cleverly to demonstrate how the special weapons would interact with the enemies or gimmicks. It's a great addition to the interactivity of the invincible enemies, providing more than one way for players to deal with them. The line platform is a little bit weird to play around, but the layout of the stage pretty much designs around making enemies behave predictably on those parts, which will require more tricky maneuvers otherwise. Shoe Man is an excellent fight that is challenging, but very much doable no damage once you learn about all his patterns. The way the fight also incorporates the stage gimmicks into it is just a cherry on top. A lovely climax to this brilliantly crafted entry. Invincible enemies and shoes? Now that's a premise I wasn't expecting in this contest, or ever, but it works remarkably well and satisfied the unconscious need I've had for more shoe-themed levels since 5.3 Super Mario Bros. 3. Capcom quality production values start the level off on the right foot. Not only does everything look and sound thoroughly like it belongs in an official game, but there's so much polish, solid construction, fire pits that bounce power-ups to where you can reach them, fun and endearing sight gags as the enemies, etc. Only a few details aren't quite in step with that standard of quality. Found a couple minor programming oversights. Shoelace platforms don't look shoelacy enough. Dakone, funny as it is, appears too stretchy and smushy for this level. And dweebs like me will find a way to get behind Dakone and ruin everything. Some levels cobble together loosely related challenges and call it a day. This one is assembled with great care, presenting a steady difficulty curve and purposeful challenges. Going toe-to-toe with an invincible army could easily be tedious or frustrating affair, but here it's an opportunity to discover all sorts of interesting mechanics. My only qualms are that the boss and mini-bosses tread outside my preferred playstyle, and sometimes the ambitions of an area start to clog the screen with too many components. I have consistently complained about levels blatantly advertising what weapons to use on destructible blocks. This is the sole exception. As if all the lovingly crafted enemy and gimmick introductions weren't good enough, this level is laced with berries that are strategically situated to teach the player a useful trick when destroyed. Between the excellent introduction and execution of a clever concept and the rampant charm, this is a level that leaves a lasting impression. This level is a masterclass in teaching players. Both core and subtle game mechanics are taught easily and superbly, without having to rely on the dreaded text box or press this button here tutorial graphics seen in many an indie platformer. The core mechanics of the level are made clear. You can't hurt enemies. Enemies without shoes can't walk on fire blocks. Boom! Crystal clear mechanic that gets built on from there. Cannot praise enough how good this teaching was. That's not the impressive part. This is a stage of thought, hang on, the player is starting with a full weapon set. Maybe we can do something with that. We have breakable weapon blocks. This is a key method used to show, not tell, its interactions. I could highlight moments throughout because there's many, but we'd be here all day, so listening to noteworthy. The room with the breakable tornado blow blocks. It's an optional path, and players hunting for tokens will be instantly rewarded. By opening a path, the player is shown that this weapon knocks enemies on their butt, but not just that. In one fell swoop, it showed that butt-first enemies are also not protected from the fire blocks. So yes, I appreciate when a contest stage builds around the player's toys rather than arbitrarily taking them away out of fear of breaking pure stage design. It helps then that this stage constantly builds on these mechanics and gets an absolute ton of mileage of that. By the end of the stage, I was satisfied that this level explores mechanics about as well as I could ask, and thanks to the weapon interactions, I found this level quite replayable once the puzzle elements wore off. If I had one main complaint, it's that aesthetically, whilst the shoe-wearing enemies and new animations for them are really, really cute, the actual level itself is plain to a fault. I could have done with more tileset variety. The foreground in particular is hopelessly generic, its personality is lacking. I'm also never a fan of weirdly stretched enemies, but I understand that Dakoni is a joke, so that's just a personal pet peeve. Let's end with Shoeman himself. Be good! This is one of those bosses in this contest where I feel compelled to master and no damage. Some of his attack timing is awkward, sure, but you can adapt. He's a super original fight and I love him. All in all, this is one of my favorite stages in this contest. It'll be tough to choose between this and some of the others. Excellent work. Borg! Is that what I'm supposed to say? I don't know how to navigate social situations. Don't want Peaches just walk inside me and die. Man, I wish I were covered in spikes, but like all my brethren, I'm covered in ice cream cones. You didn't know that? Why else would we roll around so much? Ice cream doesn't churn itself. Here's a wild story. I'm stomping around my own business and out of nowhere. A flying mustache appeared. I had it right on my face it did. Couldn't get it off. If I could slide, shoot, or teleport out and shake it loose. What a relief! I was just about to try rubbing a mustache on other people until it came off.
Here, bring it to Cutsman!
Congratulations on your good deed, Bastion. I can feel my sharp wit returning. As heroes go, you're first rate. First perforate? I think I don't have these scissors on straight. Anyway, I mean, you're dead. Call me if you ever want a haircut. Yay! Helmetless Mega Man, baby.
Yep.
Alright, time for third place after I get my drink. Found a strange flower and decided to nurture it. Now it follows me around commenting on everything I do. I'm conflicted. Should I try to abandon it in one of the simulations? Oh! In that case, I'll leave it in your care. It's been really curious to know what...
Oh no.
Talking flower! Irrigation irritation. Mixed bronze favorite. Here's Cerberus. I'll never understand humans' tendencies to throw celebrations over the smallest of things. I suppose the small joys are what keeps us going, but I wish we could celebrate the advent of justice more often. Rather than having to fight for it every day of our lives, it's a rather grisly truth. Oh no, you or your dog!
Dog. You getting your thing?
Yeah. Irrigation irritation by the stove guy. Got a bunch of 90s, oh no. Keep using that word.
I had to see if they were going to make that reference.
Oh no. As the tournament is. Heal. Alright, let's check the scores again, because I wasn't looking too hard. Hey, nothing under 80, and 2 over 90.
What is with my look? What is
Good question.
going on? Oh, it's because I got inked, I guess, maybe.
It's a good look.
What, regular black tiger over Ah! Lag! I mean, Bastion's supposed to be
Boing.
have the blue go into the black.
Boing. Whoops.
Look what not right now, buddy.
Mr. Coots.
Oh, Luna's borking.
Luna!
I said woof woof woof. Gonna let her back in.
I don't know if she's barking to come back in. Sometimes she's just trying to bark to get my attention. Or to try to get me to go out and play, even though we play all freaking day. Well, today we didn't because there was a lot of work. It sounds like she wants in, yeah. No, I'm gonna, hold on, let me get checkpoint. Mr. Coots, do you need out too? Arf. Covered in stuff. Ink. Black tiger. Or not black tiger, black stripe tiger. He's husky colored. Susie got Susied. Oh no. Susie got inked too. Oh.
Nice. Intruder alert! Feels like a Kirby kill room.
Oh no, we're infiltrating the Geo front.
No drones remaining. What is that thing?
How the heck do we hit it with ice? Whoa, that is going to be really hard to dodge. I don't know how we hit that with ice.
Like this. Oops, I missed. Yeah!
Order for all
Order for all
seasons.
seasons. Good times. Excellent. Simply excellent. Wow, I'm impressed with this one. Irrigation Irritation has so many of the points that make a great Mega Man level. It's freaking pretty for stars, and combined with fun music, this desert tower gets nearly top-notch aesthetics marks. It's well designed with only scarce few issues to speak of. It covers unique ground with its core concepts, and above all, it's just plain fun to play. Definitely liking this. The main draw in the designs and custom water dives. They look vaguely similar, but they're a far cry from the styles from Power Up. From start to end, these add a lot to the platform, whether it be simple leaps through the air, small blockades, energetic climbing rooms, Kyoei support, or combined with wind physics for a grand finish. No matter what, the geysers are just plain fun. If there was anything I was a little bummed with, is that the gimmick didn't really leverage its enemy interactions. The Aragog bouncing his bombs from the geyser was cool. I'd love to see more of that. The rest of the level is similarly strong, with generally strong enemies. A few highlights. GoBots become an actual obstacle in the wind segments, and he makes a good aesthetic piece early in the level. Aragog G, again, gets a fun interaction with the core gimmick, and the ability to jump over so many octaves is very refreshing, especially how it works in small little split paths. The only item that's kind of a weakness is Camon. It barely shows up, and it's generally easy to dispatch. There's also a segment with murky water that blocks your vision. It's a neat little idea, and I like how it's energized with new metal. But it's also probably the most underutilized element of the level, appearing in one room. Not bad, but a bit disappointing. As far as flows end up going, the above bits are basically it. The level is just plain fun, and it backs itself up with solid design. It also has a unique ending with a mini-boss fight against a Teleswarm, followed by a killer water tank for the boss. I found dodging the 5-way bubble shot a bit of a mess, since probably the weakest design point since it's so hard to parse, but everything else about it is really fun. I'm kind of glad it's not a Robot Master for once, since I adore Robot Masters, but Fortress boss types need more love. Again, I'm impressed with this one. It's not my absolute favorite, but if the Bronze Star indicates anything, I can absolutely applaud this place for such awesome work. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next. I had a lot of fun with this stage, to the point where I was almost disappointed when it ended. I honestly wanted more after it was all done, but for what it's here, it's really good. The first and most obvious thing to note here are with the aesthetics. This is easily one of the most standout levels in the contest for its looks alone. It manages to pull off having a relatively bright color palette without being rough on the eyes. It's also not to mention a few smaller details that add on to the stage's atmosphere, like tiny wind gusts in the background, which also serves as a nice bit of foreshadowing to actual wind current getting found later in the level. Topped off with the rather neat dithering effect when you go underwater, all of this makes for one of the most memorable looking entries in the whole contest. As for the stage design itself, I thought it was really well put together. Nearly all of the segments here felt like they had a good balance and synergy with the enemies and gimmicks. Speaking of gimmicks, the water geyser in particular is a pretty simple but really fun one that gets put to good use here. I'm especially interested to see that enemy projectiles interacted with them at one point. I was really hoping that this would get expanded on as the level progressed. Sadly, it only really shows up in one room, which feels like a bit of a waste of potential. Beyond that, the only other part that felt a little off to me was the water room. For as much as I enjoyed the visual effects here, I couldn't help but feel the enemy subs were weaker and more basic in that segment, as opposed to the rest of the stage's more well thought out enemy placement. That aside, I actually don't have much else to complain about here. All the other rooms are a blast to go through, especially the final lead up to the boss. The Little Gauntlet of Tellies is one of the few examples of enemy spams in these entries, or fan games in general for that matter. It actually gets the concept right. Even with the Tellies built into counter projectile for when you kill them, you still have an advantage on account of their inherent squishiness, along with being able to anticipate their naturally escalating waves. Lastly, there's the end boss himself. He's got a fun design, a good range of attacks, and the battle doesn't overstay its welcome either. The only thing I'm not too keen on is his random spread attack after he finishes with his initial burst of bubbles. Given they seem to fly off in whatever direction they want and cover the majority of the screen, it's a little hard to tell what way to move in order to avoid it. It's just one minor gripe with an otherwise very solid boss fight, topping off an equally solid level. Overall, excellent work on this one. Sprinkling stress. Simple yet very sweet level. Also very pretty stage in general, with cheery music to boot, definitely winning the over the aesthetics alone. The water spout gimmick is certainly a fun gimmick, and quite intuitive and was implemented nicely into a level design. Having octopus batteries to time your jump into the spouts is especially very clever design. The mini-boss fight is really cool too, where you need to propel yourself high to shoot it. The part with the strong wind can be a little unfair in a few spots, because getting hit at all means you're pretty much propelled into any nearby pit due to the intense turbulence. Also a bit of a rude placement on the fourth token where you can't return back to the top platform if you miss your jump. Right away it's a very interesting concept. The water droplets Telledrons drop on defeat are a brilliant addition, making the player think twice before blindly going in his guns blazing. The gauntlet kind of lasts maybe one or two ways too long, but it's a minor complaint. The boss is pretty cool and definitely a unique one on top of the design. Oh no, it's an evil teleporter pod with floating eyes! The bubble barrage can be a little tricky to dodge, but manageable if you observe the trajectory carefully. There's always a cooldown period in between attacks to get your attacks in. The way he summons the drones mid-battle is also very cool, certainly increasing the tension of the fight for the right amount. Though I did encounter a funny bug one time where the boss dies it was still summoning the drones, and Mega Man continued to get pummeled by it during the victory sequence. Thankfully, the full heal from collecting element prevented any unfair death. Intricate graphics, pumping music, wide open spaces, distinctive foreground depth, motion-oriented gimmicks, and a strategically out-of-reach boss. If I didn't know better, I'd say you're looking for a make-a-good Sonic-level contest that is down the hall. But these elements work very well for Mega Man to give this level a lot of character. My complaints are few and minor. Shielded enemies are a smidge too prevalent and easy to snipe with laser trident. Every token challenge does something that bugs me, like the last token being reachable without weapons but escapable only with weapons. You have to refight the second mini-boss if you die and fall off the checkpoint platform. I'm sad we got this contest into ubiquitous boss music instead of something that fits better with the main theme. A lot of things impressed me. Attention to visual detail for one. The shimmery special effect is the sentry boss teleporting in, water dripping off the hydro spouts, puffs of air swirling around as the wind picks up, and so on. Tight programming for another. The custom assets work beautifully, and I'm thrilled that the hydro spouts react to a variety of objects, including Ice Wall! Whee! Challenge structure also impressed me. Every section knows exactly what it wants to accomplish, and the arc of the whole level is a steady progression from relaxed to pulse pounding in exactly the right number of screens. Breaking up at the action are all the right times of a mini-boss fight, an indoor area with delicious and thematically relevant obfuscation gimmick, and a second mini-boss fight that builds on the first one and kind of lends some practice for the big boss. I also like that the middle checkpoints are followed by low-stress Hydro Spout challenges, which guarantee the players get all the practice they need. This is a fun, finely crafted level. Nicely done. This stage was a blast to run through. This feels very much like it fit in either Mega Man 9 or 10, and it really nails it in terms of teaching and reaching some good, solid final challenge rooms. The thing that really makes this level come together is how it's pretty much all momentum, and the stage is paced around the player's constant movement. The water geysers in particular make for some satisfying rooms to run through. As a mostly dev kit level, I felt you made good use out of the stock assets here. A highlight was using Irritating Fire Hanabiran as a one-off challenge. It's not especially clever or anything, but it just works for me. It's aesthetically gorgeous, super cute tile set, and honestly it's clear a lot of attention to detail was paid here. From powerful effects to parallax scrolling, and even maintaining a fairly consistent enemy tally. The two end bosses are pretty neat too. Drone Barrage does not outstay its welcome, and the Water Mechanoid is just nice, chaotic fun. Its attacks simply look harder to dodge than they really are. I don't really have much in the way of critique, although if any, some areas are a tad hard to correct if you fail the timing. At best, my issues are nitpicks, and I don't really feel the need to nitpick. This is straight up one of my favorite stages in the contest. Awesome job.
Alrighty.
On to second place. Hello, Dragon. Whoops. Okay.
Milk noises? What?
Mom, I'd like to kill. I don't know. It's said the toughest warriors find enlightenment under waterfalls. The fighter in that simulation seems to be one of them. He derives strength from water. If I'm to hunt my prey, I must first understand it. And to understand it, I must imitate it. It's quite cold, I must admit, and I shall endure.
Beatman!
By Red Bluepy and the Skipper 1995. Nick and Shinryu's silver favorites. 4 scores over 90!
Wow.
And Flashman didn't like it as much for some reason. Nope, I'm all people out. Bye!
Oh.
You know, I bet if you ate-ify Grimcat's battle theme, that it would make a great Mega Man stage theme. Okay.
That reminds me, the new Rune Factory that got announced looks actually like they put actual effort back into it, which is good, because 5 was kind of not great. Looks like you...
I have no opinion on farming games. They bore me.
It's a, well, I mean, it's a combo farming action RPG. Looks like you play as one of 2 Eastern dragons. In human form, of course. I'm guessing with all the like monster, well, it's like humans with dragon characteristics. I'm guessing it's because so many people wanted more of the Kimono Mimi types after Room Factory Overfeed Frog. No! This level is good. Because in 4, people got really... you could only get to him at post-game, but it was the Kitsune guy. It was definitely like an actual fox thing, but he had it... Well, why did I fall through that? The heck?
Go on!
What?
He definitely had a bite.
He definitely had like an actual like fox form. And like Rune Factory 5 had the wolf girl, and people really like dating those girls, and people were asking for more, so I guess that's what they went with. I mean, if they're like before, then they actually have like those. I mean, even the fox girl in Rune Factory 5 had a actual animal form. She was the first boss, even. Oh no, sinking in mud. Oh no, muddy fur. This level has really strong theming.
Yep, I dig it. Ooh, plushy.
Got it.
Stage is a little bit on the long side. Ooh, that's intense. Mushrooms.
No, what are you doing? Oh!
Maybe we got a tornado blow that guy.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell that the attack was coming down the water there. It kind of blended in.
Giga! Oops.
Yay. I'll take that. Whoa!
That was close.
Blech. Oh, come on!
Oh.
That was terrible. Right at the end, too.
You're in good company with the cow of Rao. Oops.
There's a bit of a tight little jump there.
You got muddy paws. What you did. Nice work.
Beatman! I found you at last!
Simonko Bastion. I don't speak Polish.
That's Polish.
Probably.
Good thing I got here sooner than you could start wreaking havoc, but that doesn't mean you're getting off scot-free. See? Is this Polish?
It has the dark L. I'm assuming it's Polish.
Prepare to fight. Ah! Where did that come from?
Oof. Yay!
Eye of the
It's
Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger! It's the thrill
Yeah.
of the fight.
I mean, yeah, Bastion's right. At least his
Yeah.
eyes were above there.
Oh boy, these are some serious graphics, yo. Seriously though, Beatman stage is beautiful, and get some extra props for things like weather as a progress indicator. There's still a few visual issues. It wasn't clear the store's stalk wasn't solid, and the ladders can be hard to see against the walls. Otherwise, it's a strong aesthetic for a solid level, and I really enjoyed this. Not to mention a creative level. You think by now we'd have had a Robot Master level themed after farming with how important a job it is, but the only significant one I can think of besides Beatman is the Applejack level from that one My Little Pony crossover fan game. So, you know, props for a novel concept. I have to gush about the enemies. The Beat Tellies make excellent swarms, and the bird ones are a nice twist. The farmers and gnomes are well placed and fun, and I especially enjoyed their sense of humor. The mushroom meds make excellent enemies for the high ground, and the mulch buckets might not be as frequent, but they get excellent scenarios whenever they appear. The gimmicks are similarly fun. I adored the ever-growing carrots, and they got a lot more variety than expected. The water drains were a nice spin on an old toy, keeping the water interesting without resorting to spray paint spikes. And again, I adored the rain as a progress indicator, and it made a nice twist with the mud.
I'm not playing. Not right now.
Sadly, puppy. Hey, puppy. Sadly, there's still slip-ups to address. My primary issue is the frogs, specifically their low health. They keep a charge handy at all times, so for the longest time I thought they were jumping enemies with a croaking noise. When I realized how they work, I was so disappointed. The frogs eating your shots, slowing down each time until they eat too much and explode into shrapnel. That's such a cool concept, but then my typical playstyle utterly trivializes them to the point one of the more unique concepts is somehow one of the least interesting parts. That bothers me so much. The other big issue is the level's length. By my count, this is a raw 40 screens, already almost twice as long as the average Robot Master stage. But then the level's pace is a good deal slower than normal, with a lot of challenges that require waiting. Once you get to the layer sections, there can be a long period of time between checkpoints. I have a lot of patience for slow levels if they hold my interest, and my score in Silver Star any indication, this succeeded. Though if I'm not an outlier, I'll be surprised.
Stop, Luna, please.
Still, this is a lovely level, and it's well supported by the bosses. The stork was an entertaining foe, visual issues aside, and I like the attempt to do a little more with the frogs. Beatman himself is the highlight of the level. His concept has a hilarious pun, and I adore the boxing theming in this room. I also found this fight really entertaining. His concept is unique, the battle's fun to learn, and has a solid difficulty curve. I especially appreciate that he held off the veggie wave until after you've had a chance to learn it a little. And the pumpkin bomb was a great way to twist the fight without breaking it. Very Mega Man 11. All in all, I have no complaints with him. He's an awesome boss and a great capper to a fine level. I'm not sure I can even put into words how happy this level made me the first time I played through it. Not only is it incredibly creative with its theming, it's easily one of the most well-made Robot Master stages I've played in a long time. There's really only a few minor faults here and there that I can think of. One being that it's very easy to miss out on the frog's secondary ability to spit out absorb projectiles, since they go down completely with a single charge shot. It's a bit of a shame since it's a pretty charming ending in both design and functionality. Another fault comes in the room with the two white radish platforms and an E-tank in the upper right. The timing required to jump on the radishes to reach a ladder seems really tight for being so early in the level. Aside from those two things though, I honestly can't find any other noteworthy problems with this stage. From beginning to end it was nothing short of wonderful. The challenge progression, gimmick usage, and custom enemies are all great here. Every aspect of this level is introduced incredibly well, with the room layouts all building upon the strengths of the enemies and gimmicks the more it goes on, as well as just being generally fun to traverse. While the level is a tad bit on the long side, I was having so much fun with it that I honestly didn't even mind this. It's very clear that a lot of time and care went into all of this, especially the little details. I love that mud only affects the player's sprite for how much they sunk into it, or how the gardener enemies can't dig up debris while on metal surfaces. Beatman himself is also a testament to the effort put in here, having a highly entertaining and overall well-put-together fight. He may follow a set string of attacks, barring the odd shockwave of veggies he's thrown out sometimes, but the way he always approaches the player and throws out his attacks is more than enough to keep you on your toes. Even the rain and mud gimmick gets incorporated into the fight, without skewing the difficulty too much. It's a great ending to an incredibly well-done and creative stage. Absolutely outstanding work. I'm gonna beat you. This is quite a superb stage indeed. The theming, custom enemies and gimmicks, and the difficulty curve are all executed well here, down to the attention to detail, like how Mega Man's sprite becomes more covered up in mud if he stays in it for an extended period. I like that. I adore the farmer enemies, just their whole method of attacking is digging up random vegetables out of the ground. It's quite silly. The carrot pillars are also pretty creative. How the stage incorporated them so you need to manipulate their heights in order to advance is brilliant. While the stage doesn't shy away from kicking off its difficulty to its full potential with the custom elements, it is still entirely fair and doable with Buster only as well, though the random vegetable trajectories from the farmer guys get a little unpredictable sometimes. Beatman himself has a very charming design, and his fight isn't that bad either. He seems intimidating coming up close to punch you, but that's the most predictable pattern you can lock him into. His rapid punches can be dodged consistently with the right timing, and he will always do the slam attack every 3 punches. A surprisingly manageable and very learnable boss overall. If charm and character were the only driving factors, in my opinion, of the level, Beatman would be a contender for first place. Professional quality aesthetics ensure the atmosphere is the best it can possibly be. I adore the creativity and attention to detail in the theming. A slew of garden-related enemies and gimmicks, a truly innovative boss, muddy ground with both practical and cosmetic effects, and wonderful asset interactions and sight gags. The inflatable frogs and wiggly Toadman statues are amazing. Elevate the heck out of this level. However, certain gameplay aspects are equally important to me. On the first playthrough, I had some trouble figuring out the intended solutions to several problems and found myself wishing for more frequent checkpoints. I think this is largely a function of the level exploring the possibilities of these assets without focusing enough on shaping them into cohesive arts. Little oddities such as inconsistently invincible decorative carrots didn't help. I do appreciate the intentionality of the individual challenges, even if there are parts I personally don't enjoy, e.g. getting knocked off by a ladder by a cheap shot from a mushroom. Sections such as the final water puzzle, the rainy screen immediately before, and the indoor screen with a wide jump in the middle come across as over-designed. They expect too much of the player, particularly the Buster purists, and are visually distracting in some way. That said, I would rather have over-designed than under-designed. And it's not like all the challenges are unpleasant. Jumping between robotic root vegetables in order to grab a ladder or get around a spike is clever. Running across a row of enemies who proceed to storm you is fun, and the fight with Beatman is satisfyingly complex and surprisingly fair once you understand the pattern. I think we have a contender for the prettiest looking stage in the contest. A wonderfully detailed tile set and enemies and assets that just ooze personality and charm. This is also a good showcase of what I mentioned several times elsewhere. I don't think these particularly look like Capcom assets or official Mega Man assets. If anything, they're too detailed for that. No, it's all new assets, and that firmly lets its identity take hold. Rather than having the older NES stock graphics stick out. Something that has happened quite frequently with stages using new assets that don't look like Capcom's. As I said, this level looks great. The little details and interactions just raise up the aesthetics at the top tier. If I had a favorite minor detail, it might be the mud and how it stains the player after they're at any time sinking into it. The assets themselves are just well designed and creative. It might have been possible that some were too creative. Some of these are not obvious to how they behave at a glance. Thankfully, this was never an issue. The stage introduces its assets well and it's all quickly understood. As much as I love it, there are some faults with the stage. The stage might be very pretty, but the dingy nature of the tileset can sometimes hinder navigation. Ladders in particular blend in, and the problem is further exacerbated when it's dark and rainy. I just can't bring myself to lower the aesthetic source, so this is a design issue instead. Rooms also tend to get rather crowded, and when the enemies are this complex, it does arbitrarily raise the difficulty in spots. And it is a hard stage. It's the fun type of hard, though, where most deaths, which were admittedly pretty frequent for me, do feel like my fault rather than the stages. It's just one of those stages where mistakes compound themselves as your health bar is chipped away. Thankfully, checkpoints are reasonable here. There isn't enough instant deaths to make them feel like they're far away. Although that last jump in the stage toward the boss door was a smidge painful and failed. Let's talk Beatman. As with the level, he oozes personality and he has some fun attacks. I was having fun figuring out his pattern and attempting to get him down to a no damage run, but his AI is, well, he falls very much into the super easy to manipulate by just staying close to him, and that takes what was a challenging boss into pretty much a non-issue. Oh well, can't win them all. Overall, this is one of my favorite stages in the contest. Fantastic job. Time for first place! Oh hey, nice to get a visitor. Come down and enjoy the tournament. I'm working as a loudspeaker. Would the owner of a red convertible dog please move your pet vehicle? You're in a no barking zone. Soroa appears to be applauding the winner, or trying to kill you, or possibly both. So this is the one known as Bastion. Your reputation precedes you. I hear you are a champion's champion. Please enjoy a respite from battling your fellow competitors and proceed to the final teleporter. The highest rated simulation awaits.
Hold on. Oh, over here. Oh. There's a Toad man. There's a Toad thing hidden somewhere too. Scree! Metroid knows it. It actually does a Metroid. Where is the Toad man?
Aren't these simulations great? Congratulations to everyone, I say. Although it's no longer my job to congratulate anyone. I'm happy to pass that torch to Apollo or Voltman or anyone with the right attitude. We can all share the spotlight. Oh wait, make sure to come to me once you cleared all the simulations here. You want your rank after all, right? I feel inspired to create a simulation of my own. What should I name it? Maybe something like Shoe YMCA Shape 9.
I don't see the Toad Man thing in this one. Maybe he's not in here? Maybe he shows up after. Cassette Man!
By Frames and Corby. Ooh. Oh no, that animation doesn't. Oh, it's a subwoofer! That's adorable.
It affects the music, okay. Oh! It has a similar mechanic to what I was thinking of the level I was trying to make for this. Oh man. Just a little bit. It affects the speed and everything of the music, okay. It just tells me that you can do my concept that I was thinking of before, but... The subwoofer. It actually whoops. Bark, bark. Or was it Bork? From that game. You were playing that game. The weird, like, dog. Bark, bark. Bork, bork. Whatever. Butterfied is...
Oh yeah, A2XT too. Okay. Oops. I goofed. Aw, the rewind button doesn't make the enemies spin the other way.
Those are some hard to dodge shots. Bork. Ah! Woof. No! Goodbye, Woof. Oh, that's right! That's another game coming out soon I completely forgot about.
What?
Everhood. Everhood 2.
Yeah.
And hey! I don't know if I'm in the credits, but I did talk to them about stuff. They were asking people who won, like, no-hits parts of the game. Me and a couple other people. They talked to a bunch of people who played the game and did, like, really well on it. Asking about things to improve on. The checkpoints are already added, which was a big thing for me, because I beat it before checkpoints existed! I 100% it with before... I did a no-hit with no checkpoints. It was a nightmare. 16 minutes without taking a hit. 16 minutes. Well, not 16. 12 minutes. 16 was 16 is a Drakengard 3. We had to do it for that long to get the true ending. And the final beat you don't get to see because it's faded to black already, because Yeah. Oh.
I kind of get the feeling Yoko Taro hates his players.
It always does something weird for the true endings. He looks like a he looks like something I saw in the 80s. He's got the Casio guitar. Whoa, wait, what? I think the game just lagged and killed me anyways after I jumped over it. What? Okay.
Nice animations.
Kinda don't want to kill him too fast. I want to see what he can. Oh, never mind. Gonna say see what he can do. What was that noise? Oh, I do believe.
Oh, I do believe someone here has just cleared all the simulations in this tier. Where we are, I want you to talk to me right away. No, reviews first. Shinryu and Shinryu's gold favorite, Patchy's silver favorite. Only one score under 90, and just barely. Hey, only stage with an average over 90, I think. Superb. Simply superb. Cassette Man is one of the more finely crafted stages I've seen in a while, enough so that I've come back to it when I need a break. Level design is strong, the concepts are fun, distinct, and it's all wrapped up in an entertaining package. It's not everything I was looking for, but it comes pretty freaking close. At a glance, the gimmicks are just moving platforms, which, you know, been done. But they're moving platforms with a twist. The added cassette player buttons breathe new life into a lot of familiar concepts, and it was cute how they changed the music. The enemies are also great, though Subwoofer and Fast Forward are personal favorites, either for being adorably creative or just making me chuckle. The little legs are an honorable mention, as I like how they interact with the cassette buttons to create new scenarios. Indeed, this level derives a ton of different challenges from its assets, especially after the mid-boss. Every room feels different from what's before, with scenarios I haven't experienced before, yet the consistent assets keep the experience cohesive. It's really polished and impressively creative. The existence of a strong difficulty curve helps immensely. The level doesn't start using significant instant death risk until after the mid-boss, and it becomes much more willing to combine everything together as the stage advances. Top it all off, the boss fights are both excellent. The jukebox makes excellent use of rewinds and rising platforms, and I appreciate that it's possible to fight him without pressing play. Yes, this includes Buster Only. It's a bit tight to use the rewind platform, so it's a fun challenge to pull off. As for Cassette Man himself, he's fast, flashy, and fair with a few memorable tools up his sleeve. My only real issue is that he dies too quickly to the point where I kind of have to force myself to see his full pattern. Besides the boss going down like a chump, I have one other personal issue with the level. The visual aesthetic was dull. The graphics themselves are not the issue. They're crisp and professional and working well with the music and theming. However, I recall most Mega Man stages looking and feeling more vibrant than this does. I've actually gotten pretty heckin' bored watching back my own recordings of the place, which is a bit of a demerit. The music can also get a little grating, to the point where I've had to turn my sound down at least once. All that being said though, if my only issues are a lack of vibrancy and things being a bit easy, yeah, this is tightly designed and genuinely fun. It's not an absolute favorite of mine, it's a masterful piece of work regardless. For the longest time, I honestly couldn't decide how to write my opening statement for this one. After some careful consideration, I think the best way to convey my feelings on this stage would be in the most straightforward way possible. I love this. Virtually everything about the stage is wonderful. The presentation here is absolutely on point, both in the visual department and especially the sound. Having the music change depending on what speed setting is currently active is just amazing. It really adds to the overall charm of the level. Speaking of the main gimmick, even though it's more or less just a stop left-right switch for conveyor belts and platforms, it's applied in a really well done and very stylish way to keep things from getting stale. All the enemy placements complement the room layouts and take into account the conveyor belts and platforms, along with what speed they're going. You can easily tell there was a lot of thought put into all this. If I had anyone gripe with this level, it's that while there was a clear difficulty curve, the level itself remained mostly on the easy side. It's somewhat culminated with Cassette Man himself. He's a great looking boss, though again, it's quite easy and doesn't seem to dish out much damage. outside of his gigantic half-room filling laser, which has a rather long telegraph to it. Even with the somewhat low difficulty hour, I can't say it negatively impacted my time at this level all that much. When all said and done, this was easily my favorite stage in this whole contest. Absolutely outstanding work here. And as one fun side note, if we had a best custom enemy award of any kind, I'd hands down give it to the subwoofers on this level. Seriously, those things are more adorable than they have any right to be. If you want to make a plushie figurine or an actual subwoofer out of them, I pay good money for it. Quick! Quick! This is an incredibly well-crafted stage. This is, I dare say, the definitive good Mega Man level. We have found it here, folks. Corniness aside, to put it simply, this is SP brilliant. The main gimmick is simple and sweet. You control the state at which the platforms move via these cassette player buttons. It flows very well with the platforming challenges for its versatility while also bringing a fresh idea to the table. The fact that the stage went the extra mile of changing the music dynamically according to the playback state, especially the fact that it is a Robot Master stage about cassettes, I am absolutely in love with the attention to detail like that. I love the fact that these little walking enemies are able to interact with the environment too, changing the playback state on the fly and keeping the player on their toes while riding on the platforms. Also, Subwoofer is a national treasure. I adore its mighty woofiness. The record player mini-boss is a fun little distraction. Its visual design and attacks also blend very well with Mega Man boss design. Utilizing part of the main gimmick, the rising and falling platforms controlled by switches, in order to be able to reach its weak spot, simple, yet works pretty well. The fact that mini-boss is throwing the same walking enemies who toggle those platform states,
Such a funny detail and a great telegraph is record projectiles.
The only real downside of the level I can think of is that the checkpoints are a bit sparse, but the stage length isn't too much of a hassle. Plus, the level doesn't get incredibly difficult to manage either. Cassette Man is an adorable man. His animations are also charming, with how he's changing tapes in between attacks, implying that he stores his battle data in different tapes. It gives so much character to this character. All in all, it's also a great fight itself, with fun attacks to learn and avoid, and perhaps he could stay a little lower in the air during the big laser attack. I cracked up when I realized the dog-themed speaker enemy was a subwoofer. That's the kind of fun-loving, exceedingly clever design that sets this apart from one of the best stages in the contest. Everything I want out of an authentic Capcom-style Mega Man level is right here. Atmosphere, learning curve, challenge progression, all the intangibles are expertly handled. It's the color combinations and eye-catching foreground details. It's a gradual introduction of new elements and enemy-assisted gimmick demonstrations. It's the pacing of each section and giving a player permission to make mistakes with the early challenges. This is what good planning and playtesting look like. My favorite parts are ones with a puzzle slant, such as pausing the platforms at the right height before proceeding. I would have liked a few more challenges like that. Plus maybe a little gimmick integration of the boss fight, but that's more personal preference than design critique. My one and only real complaint is the strain of having a few too many screens between the last two checkpoints, exacerbated by one or two sections where backtracking is involved, thus making a section feel even longer. Setting aside a couple nitpicky technical aspects of the boss fight, the polish and attention to detail are incredible. I'm thrilled that the level resisted every attempt I made to break it. I'm amused by the occasional enemy amidst the Med Boss's record collection. I love how the main gimmick affects the music and that both conveyors and background graphics make it thoroughly clear what button has been pressed. Every one of Cassette Man's attacks is thematically fitting, just the right difficulty and animated with panache. I could go on, but suffice it to say, this level takes a good premise and makes the absolute most of it, keeping equal focus on great design and great aesthetics. Well done. God, what a good stage.
How many times are you going to just sit there farting? You were
And
just
very
out.
polished. This feels straight out of a newer Capcom title. Maybe better than that. There is care and attention to detail that goes above and beyond what's required. So in my opinion, the best part of the stage, the music, and its time-bending nature. So good, and even if this would just seem to just be a novel detail, it's more important than that. It has relevant gameplay implications. On occasion, it can be hard to notice what direction things are supposed to be traveling in, especially in the heat of battle, but the music makes it very clear. This is even more relevant when enemies can also flick switches, sometimes even off-screen. Most stages would display a stock sound effect of a hit switch, likely leading to some confusion. Nope, none here. This is going to be the example I point to in future to show, no, aesthetics matter a ton in game design. They can even be a teaching element. Not to sell the rest of the stage short, of course. The enemies are adorable. Oh my god, this subwoofer, I love him! Okay, he can be a tad annoying to deal with sometimes, but I love him anyway. As a fellow make enemies out of really bad puns dog, I approve wholeheartedly of this dumb joke. Cassette Man himself is a fun fight here, but that might also be down to the detailing and animation. In reality, it's a rather stock, very basic attacks, but the animation sells it. He's also adorable as it happens. Super solid boss fight, much, much easier than the stages in. Oh, from the looks of things, several of the assets here are reskinned dev kit ones. I say this to highlight just how good a job the level does. I only really see them as such due to my familiarity with the kit, but these gel so well to the stage it did just seem all that more natural here, so I keep saying. The stage is so super polished. If I had a critique, this felt like it could do with just one additional checkpoint. Toward the end of the stage, instant death starts creeping up as you progress. Never gets egregious, but it's almost always combined with a lot of very tough to deal with enemies. So yeah, it's a very hard level outside of an easy boss. It's definitely on the upper end of the spectrum for that. As my health bar quickly drained, there were a lot of very tense moments approaching that boss door. This level is also one of my favorites. Every time I've said this in the comments of the stage, this stage was legitimately in the run to get picked among the top 3. Of all the stages though, I'd say this was the closest to making it into said top 3. In the end, I prefer Spectrum Science just that bit more, but man, this is such a good Mega Man stage.
Do we want to get this? Because stuff is
Yes.
probably going to hit the fan right now. Once we do.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Alright, it's almost midnight, so I want to ask. Alright.
Bastion, you're the one who's cleared all his tier simulations just now, aren't you?
Oh yeah, that was me who finished them all. And Susie.
Perfect. Fireworks! Congratulations! You proved not just your great skill and power, but also your admiration for our highest rated simulations. On behalf of Ernest Will, I should grant you the rank of Tier 15.
Conquering the summit.
Woo! Final boss time.
Probably a lot more than just the final boss. There's probably quite a few, like, there's usually an equivalent of Wily Castle stuff. Story, Wily Castle with a bunch of stages and a bunch of bosses, and like if it's like Zero, stuff goes absolutely crazy. So we'll see.
Ah, okay.
And that's why I said if we wanted to start this now, because it could be a bit.
We'll do the cutscene.
That was the last rank. I did get it right.
That's so. Well, you know what that means? Yay!
It was a long journey, but it's finally done.
And you've earned them all, I'd say. You're staying at a hotel, yeah? I'd suggest heading back there to rest until the ceremony.
Yeah, something tells me I'm gonna need it. Yeah.
Ernest's finest finalist.
Cassette Man!
Oh, okay.
Where is Mr. Toad, dude? Is he even in this stage? He might not be in here? The Toad...
I mean, he did say there was a Toadman in every lobby.
I wasn't talking to you. He just talked to me on his own. Eh?
Pop quiz, Bastion! Where's my mouth? Answer correctly or die. Very fun, Trick. Just for that, I'm gonna impale you with my horns.
Oh wait, hold on. Oh!
Consider yourself impaled. Have a nice tournament.
It got knocked off. I was gonna say give it to the spiky. The dude who wanted spikes, but... I don't see Mr. Toad Dude anywhere.
Yeah, me either.
Maybe he's not in the final tier? Oh, hold on. hello, I see you over there.
Capsule!
Shovel Knight!
Shovel Knight! Huh.
Yeah, that is a terrible thing to say that just happened. Everything will get better, dies. Proto Man didn't show up. Maybe he's not in
It
here.
is a mystery.
I'll have to go find all of them at some point, probably, whatever it unlocks. Alright, back to the hotel. Yep, we got everything.
Do you want to buy the rest of the casino upgrades, or does that not matter anymore?
I mean, I guess we can.
Let's see, alrighty. And of course you gotta turn some of those off, but hey, achievement. That'd be our entire stock, huh? Magic Man, what do we do? There's still more tokens out there, right? Bastion's bought our entire stock? Surprising. Color me impressed already, but there's still tokens left to snag, so I'd say our show isn't quite ready yet. I feel your spirit, though. You must have gone through quite a few trials to get that many tokens. You feel your worldview changing already?
No, not really.
Well, you got plenty to attend to still, don't you? Shoot! The show is almost ready, but I'm still putting the finishing touches on it, so find those remaining tokens to buy me time.
I already have the token. We already have them all, though. What's the one that we need to turn off?
Revenge.
Payday. No, Revenge Burst we can turn off if we want to. It does actually damage things now, though.
Okay.
It does quite a bit of damage if you do it.
Alright. You snag all the ranks, haven't you? Your competitor's looking rather fierce, but you have the advantage of style. And of course our lovely, extremely not free of charge upgrades. In order to promote our establishment.
I guess he'll do something after we beat the thing. What was that? Oh, that's you. Yeah. Anybody new here? Anybody new? I love solitaire, okay. Horses? Well,
Yoshi!
I guess we're heading... Wait. Well, this is gonna kick off, and we can save and go back to the lobby next time.
Yeah, that works.
All right, we will go back to the lobby next time.
Fortress
The end
level,
game
I
comes.
guess.
Yep, I don't know how long it'll be. Zero was a bit, but things go usually crazy. They usually go like complete over the top bonkers with this stuff. So and remember part of they had announced that they were looking for quite a few levels for the finale. So we'll see what we're gonna get. They have to be good levels, so this should definitely interesting.
Alright, well, that's gonna be it from me for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with Trails of Creation.
That we will. Ow. I'm going to play some more Persona 3 or something, but then I'm going to bed. So, alrighty.
Good night, everybody.
Night.